Give me a big laugh.
What? Would you say? No.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah, just, you know.
Just don't go.
Here,
unless
let me
I'm-
set you up a little bit better. Move a little bit more this way.
This way?
Yeah, towards the edge of the couch.
Oh, you want
And
it
then
close?
lean back, and then.
Oh no! Oh yeah.
Or like.
Can we lean that? I'm more of a...
You're more of a lean forward? Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah. I have scoliosis.
So then let me move this forward then, so you're more comfortable.
Thank
there
you. Merci beaucoup.
And you can adjust accordingly.
Rock and roll.
All right, it looks like we sound. You're broing out, bro.
You have. I mean, I'm wearing a leather jacket walking through LA.
And are people like, hey, what's up, bro?
I think I love the fact that you can. I love the thing about LA, which is you can look like a dysfunctional, non-successful rock star, and no one gives a fuck. And it's like, it's just par for the course. Like, everyone's like,
Yeah.
whatever. And not even a whatever. They're just kind of like, sure. And it's kind of like a fun disguise, actually. Normally I go places...
So
and
how
everyone's
often
like,
have you been out here in LA? I always just assume that everybody knows LA. No.
I've
Especially
spent-
if you like live in the West Coast for an extended period of time. But first of all, hold on.
Yeah. Oh, should we introduce the show?
Welcome to What's My Thesis. I'm your host, Javier Proenza. Every week, my guests and I share the answers we found to the questions we have. Join us as we explore and expand our worldview through research and ask, what's my thesis? And today, I have in studio a guest that I've had remotely before is Peter Max Lawrence. He is an artist that...
Homosexual.
Oh, that wasn't even like what the hesitation was about, but yeah, I guess that's important for people to know if it's important for you to tell them.
I'm gay.
But so what were we talking about? Or
I'm from Kansas.
You're gay from Kansas, queer in Kansas.
It's really important. Well, are we? Oh, wait. So can we
Yeah.
do something that I want to do too?
Yeah.
Even though this is your show, this is sort of a simulcast. Because I don't know. I'm just taking over in that way. Mm-hmm. So this is what I do for my show.
Okay.
And I don't think I'll be able to have you on my show like in my form for a bit. Mm-hmm. But I could be wrong. It might be in 2 days. All I do is I ask you to sing the theme song with me.
Of what? Of your show?
Will you do it?
Yeah. What's the song?
Okay. Actually, I often forget and have to remember. Hold on.
Are you gonna improvise it right now?
I'll run through it first, and then you.
Okay.
Yeah. No. There's no rush. I remember it. Also, I'm losing my voice a little bit. The smog in LA is real.
Oh yeah.
I wake up to it every morning. Okay, it goes like this. Time Waster Radio. Radio for those who refuse to listen.
Okay.
All right, and then we just sing it together. You want to do it?
Yeah.
So I do one.
Should we do like a harmony? Like
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
you don't. I'm not gonna make you. I mean, unless you want to do it alone.
Yeah. Oh no, we can do it alone.
Laura did it alone. She was brave, but that's.
I have already kind of forgot it.
Yeah, exactly. Just sing along with me. All right.
Right.
1, 2, 3. Time waster radio. Radio for those who refuse to listen.
We'll do it again.
One more time.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll do it by myself this time.
All right.
Time waster radio. Radio for people that refuse to listen.
Radio for those who refuse to listen.
Do we have to do it again?
I don't do people. People are boring. This is about animals too.
Okay, those. Okay.
You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it again. I think we covered it. But just in case we turn this into my show. I'm sorry. What was your question?
I don't know. Usually we do a topic, but you've said that we hung out the other night. We went on a wild night where we ended up in
We did LA Art Gallery opening night? Was that like an opening?
Yeah. I mean, we only went to 2 spots, but one of them was Bendix, so it felt like we did a lot.
Well, I also spent the next day on my own going to other galleries.
Okay.
And because I'm such a drunk, I blurred the memories, but yes.
Yeah. And then also we were both doing it as pedestrians, so that made it feel like more of an event. I think if I had driven to one gallery, I would have been like, oh my God, that was like such a waste of time. But
is this an LA thing where you have to emphasize that you were a pedestrian that night? I like it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that nobody else was like, unless they live close.
It's true. I
took a fucking bus and walked.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
That's not completely pedestrian, but I understand what you're saying. I also watch people rolling up in like, I don't know, what's the fancy Ubers, like or like limousine. I guess you guys do limousine. Yeah.
Well, you're closer to Hollywood right now.
Oh, I'm well aware of that right now.
Yeah.
I tried to go to Bill Maher the other night.
No, but the other guests, the listeners don't know. What's it called? So.
Oh, this is complicated. Oh, I'm in town visiting.
Yeah.
I make terrible art, and I have meetings around my art, and apparently, possible. I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah. Well, you just jinxed a piece that you gifted me.
No, I didn't.
You're like, well, I don't know if you want that. And now I'm going to start blaming everything bad that happens to me on
I gave him a drawing, and it had the name of like an ex-lover on it. It's no big deal. It's fine. And it wasn't a curse. It was fine.
But so that was fun though. The other night. What's your impression of that? I mean, does that exist? The art mall where you like have a building in San Francisco? I'm sure it exists elsewhere.
It exists everywhere. I mean, technically, I'm from Kansas City. Let's just bring the listeners in completely.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Kansas City, Kansas. But I grew up in the arts community. Grew up. Oh my God, I'm starting to talk like whatever. That's pathetic. The majority of the arts galleries and scene is in Missouri, or the high end, I should say. And so I gravitated towards that. The point you were asking is, yes, those types of spaces exist everywhere. San Francisco, in fact, actually has, I moved there in my adult years, just to catch you up. They have a couple of like downtown office buildings that are dedicated to art. When I first moved there in the early...
And they just have galleries up in there?
The majority of the spaces, yeah. And when I first moved there in the early aughts, if I remember correctly, those were like... And those were all the like fancy blue chip, and I don't even know that term at the time, nor do I even actually understand it right now. But these were fancy galleries, but also like the super hip indie galleries would kind of intermix with them or something. But I think it was also when I got there, that was a change because of the bubble. That was the end of a bubble from the first .com thingy. I'm from Kansas. No, in San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
And I had no idea. Like, I was from Kansas, so I had no idea what these people were fucking talking about.
Yeah.
But everyone was all like, these are fancy galleries. And I was like, they're in a fucking office. Like, to me, they looked so trashy. Because in Kansas City, the majority of the galleries were, I mean, they weren't like necessarily always fancy, but Kansas City has this like New York complex, which I think LA did for a while. And you guys have come over it and turned it into your own little amazing monster. But Kansas City, for when I grew up, was like, you could, like, I didn't even know, I'd never been to New York, but you could feel it. Like, people would just, like, you'd go to an opening and they were like, hello, welcome to the gallery. Actually, like, the gallery we went to the other night.
Like they were playing gallery, kind of like it was a cosplay.
Totally, 100%. I think I grew up. I think Kansas City. Exactly. My whole life has been cosplay. Actually.
Well, I mean, I think that we're starting to realize that the whole premise of America is pretty cosplay-y.
Life is performance, man, and that I do giggle when people don't when people start taking things very seriously. I'm like, you do understand. We're all a bunch of fucking morons, and we have no idea what the fuck we're doing.
Oh my god, just a bunch of crazy shaved apes.
Shaved? You're not shaved.
Well,
and neither am I.
Relatively.
I know. And I look like some weird. That's the other thing. I looked in the mirror today after I shampooed my hair, and I was like, I look like that guy who I used to see in the late '90s, going, "Hey man, you need to let go." And then. This is my personality. I was like, fuck yeah, that's an amazing look. I love it. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
LA, well, you deserve this hair. You deserve this shampooed hair.
When you were doing the shtick of taking over the show, you kind of looked like Tom Green to me.
Oh.
And I thought you were going to ask me to sing the song from Freddie Got Fingered, which is the only thing I remember from that movie.
Again, that's bro culture. I barely know him.
That's actually such a weird thing, though, because that movie's about him being mad at his dad that the dad molested his little brother. And I haven't seen the movie, but I know about it through a movie podcast that like found that out and was like, hey, you know what this is what this movie's about?
Yeah, we can talk about. It's interesting how culture, the exchange of language, and passed down through the years, and now people don't know. Like I only know Tom Green. I think a little bit from the MTV show. Yeah, I think an Eminem lyric that sticks in my mind, and then also that he was married to Drew Barrymore or was partnered with her for a while. That's he's Canadian.
Damn, dude, we're fucking old, and like I remember just thinking about like. The kind of like there's so many celebrities that are in our brains that kids won't know about nowadays. Like just like
yeah, well, guess what? I don't want to know about theirs. I'm bored. Like they fucking kill me.
Oh no! It doesn't bother me. But I'm just saying like
I can't. How many?
Or like
there were
Mario
too many blondes.
Lopez.
There were already too many blondes, and now it's like what? What are you fucking?
You got mad
about?
at someone who had dyed blonde hair
the other night.
Yeah.
Oh, doesn't. Yeah. Did I like go off on them?
No. You just said something snarky to me.
Oh, okay.
In whispers.
Good. I try not to be like super mean and yeah, I can feel it. Yeah. It's not, and I mean, I had blonde hair or still do. Depends on your assumption.
How you define it. Mm-hmm. I can see that.
No, I was like I had like white hair, shock white hair as a kid. But so I've had that privilege, and now I
of looking like Steve Martin.
And I like to take it back when I see it. It makes me very upset. No. There was something funny about. There is a cliche in LA though of the blonde, or there was, or at least that's like my Kansas City Hollywood mind. Yeah. And so when I come here and it actually exists, and like it doesn't matter like what updated format, like Goop or Gwyneth Paltrow or Lindsay. I'm confusing Lindsay Lohan and it just occurred to me the other day that I thought Lindsay Lohan and Miley Cyrus were the same person. Whoa. Like. And not even this is not an exaggeration, and I had to clarify with someone. I was like, wait. Yeah. But whatever. So you say that I'm old because I'm starting to. I just don't care.
Yeah, but those are the last like celebrities that that stick in my mind. Because now there's all these. There's so many. We used to joke. We used to joke like in the 90s about how many people were like little this, little that, like. Oh yeah. And now it's like, bro, there's little Peep, little Weep, little.
Listen, don't you talk. I love my little Peep.
Oh, I'm not hating on little Peep, but I'm just saying that's love like her. Such.
Rest in peace. She represents every one of those guys from Kansas who couldn't be Eminem. Love her. Did you listen to the new album? No.
No. I've listened to the new Gangstar though. That I like that.
I don't even know what that is. I see T-shirts now. I just don't. I can't keep up. It's too much.
It's too. I mean, but like, I think that it's fair to grow out of that kind of interest, right? Like, because then you
comic books.
Well, no, not comic books, because don't fuck with that. But getting defensive. No, like I think that like in terms of like. I just don't think that we run the risk or care if anyone shames us for not knowing who these people are. Whereas I think that when you're in high school and you're in college, maybe that shit is still like relevant and you hang on to that a little bit longer.
I think you're exemplified now if you don't know what's happening. I think that part, like, you need to know how to like make pickles and not know who fucking whoever the backup DJ is for. See, I can't even come up with a reference right now. I'm like, I don't.
Well, I think that's like a backup.
There's
DJ.
only 2 Beastie Boys. That's all I know. That's it.
Yeah. Well, that's sad. Now you made me sad.
It's really sad. It's sad. We can.
So what happened? What you wanted to tell me your story of Bill Maher, because you went to Bill Maher. You invited me to go to Bill Maher, and I didn't. I was interested in going, but I didn't accept because I didn't want to go there and use up your ticket and go there ironically, because I have like my distaste.
And I appreciate that you didn't do that
for it. But it turns out that you're not like a huge.
No, I'm a fan.
Okay.
No, so to be fair, I invited the whole world. Via the fascist book, and no one took me up on it except for a bunch of Midwesterners who were like, "Oh my God, if I was there, I'd totally come with you," which I found funny. And this was a wide variety of people. And when I say that, I mean that's what I love about coming to the West Coast. It's like I knew when I posted that I was going to get a little reprimand, and I knew the only support and or people of interest would be like, "Fuck, man, I can't afford a $230 ticket just to come to LA for 2 days." And so, anyways, I came, and I didn't realize it was the season finale, and I am a fan, and he's got his problems, and we can delve into that if we really want to, but those are his, to deal with. I find his voice sometimes it's fairly refreshing in the sense of, he's old and grumpy to a certain degree, and is like, he's fairly in touch for his generation. It's just there are a few touchstone issues that people get really upset about, and I understand. But I also think he gets taken out of context quite a bit. My main thing
which are the touchstone issues?
Well, generally it's like some anti-Islamic thing, fight with Bill with
Ben Affleck.
There's a few of them.
That's actually, I thought that shit was cheap and like and kind of celebrity class, like you know.
It's totally not even worth talking about, honestly.
No, but that
was one of the most boring conversations I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I thought that shit was cheap, but I do and I do think that he was right about his criticism of what Ben Affleck said. But I did watch the show for a long time. That dude is Islamophobic. And he gets away with it because he is anti-religion in some way, but like it's hard not to. It's
anti-religion, not Islamophobic, but
yeah, but he's pretty. He's one of the people. Like, for example, there was recently a thing with what's her face, and I'm tying two things that's not necessarily fair. But I would say, like, there was Ilhan Omar. Someone asked her a question about genital mutilation, and she snapped back and she was like, "Yo, this is fucked up. That you guys make me answer this question, and it frames me in a certain way, and and it frames my culture in a certain way where it's like."
But he didn't do that.
No, but that I find that his approach to Islam empowers that kind of thinking.
Now that's the problem I have, because now you're conflating. That is a problem for me.
No, because I've seen him on the show say very Islamophobic shit. Like my point is that what he uses as Islamophobia is misogyny, right? And so he starts talking about that. So that's the tie-in for me. So that's a question and so you can take.
It's complicated because it's all
but I'm just saying, like, there are people nowadays that are definitely talking about much more specific breakdown of what the problem is in the Middle East, which is Wahhabism. He never fucking really gets into that level of detail, and so that's where I think you're holding
him to a really high standard. I mean, I do understand.
No, but he is a pundit at the very least.
Well, let me defend him for a second. Okay. Just defend him for a second, because what I see, generally speaking, and I mean, I hear you. Like, I have moments. I just want to be really clear.
No,
it's not
I
like
understand.
I watch and I'm like, go Bill, yeah. No, there are times. I mean, I think it was even just like 2 months ago, like maybe mid-season. There's like two. He gets really grumpy. There's like there's an area, and I'm just like, I can just feel he's not feeling it, and it's like, ugh. But generally speaking, when it comes to that topic, which is way out of my wheelhouse, but with concern, I am deeply anti-religious, and that sounds harsh. But as a fag and someone who's been persecuted on a wide structure, and I'm not just talking about the church, I'm just talking about the cultural implications, and I mean even like the semi-liberal, watered-down version that America. It's been and I am not a woman. I'm not a woman of color. I'm a tall, skinny, blonde-haired, blue-eyed fag from Kansas, and I've recognized my privilege for quite a while.
But, no, I've never found you to be like you actually schooled me on one principle. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh no, for sure.
But that I always like to remind people, and that I've said to people of color before.
I love hearing it again. Go up.
Is that white trash is in and of itself a racist term because I've thought about it since, and I've added this sort of interpretation of it, but essentially is that it's saying that even though there's like that there's it's saying that there's a class problem there, but that they're also still better than the rest of the other races.
It's it's coming from an uneven field. It's also maybe to clarify that before. I don't know. I should have re-listened to our last conversation.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I definitely reinterpreted what you said.
No. But I wasn't speaking to people of color. I was actually speaking to white people. But the thing is, where I grew up, which was a significantly Black, Latino, and poor whites.
No, that's I want to clarify. That's not at all. You didn't. It was not a preachy thing. It was a thing that you said about white people that was about class that was very interesting to me. But you also said that it was racist, in the sense that, like,
I don't even want to say that. I know what you're saying too. It's not. I wasn't trying to infer that it's racist to say it. It's just problematic in many ways because what it contributes to a larger problem, which is like. It's actually, I started confronting mostly white people calling each other white trash because when they're doing that, that is racist. Like, because that's really, really racist. Where I grew up, and I just wanted to clarify, the majority of people I knew who were of varying sorts of amazingness, people who weren't white or poor white, they didn't use those terms. And actually, I've had several conversations over the last few years. This is an age thing now too, because I've met some people from my same area who completely the term white trash got ubiquitously used in pop culture. And I remember watching it happen, and that's all I was saying is I just was an advocate at the time, going, what you're saying defeats your intention, or like the original intention of it for a lot of people was like self-deprecating, but it became another thing. And then it's just obvious. It's very blatant when you say it. You're equivocating. You're saying white's good, white trash is bad, everything else that's not just white. And these terms now are just like boring because we've like, they're not boring because we have whatever in the fucking office, but nothing's real anymore. So everyone now,
has anything ever been real? We just believed.
I don't know. I take acid a lot, and there's some real shit out there.
But I mean, just the things. I definitely think that there's a lot of things that we believed in that we've realized are not at all real, and I think that a lot of that has to do with.
I almost made a horrible joke.
Well, I think a lot of it. There's another thing that I've realized personally that is real. Like which is
I'm from Kansas. I can't talk about Israel.
Next topic. Which is money. Right? I guess I am talking about Israel, but I'm actually mostly talking about anti-Islam or Islamophobia, right? Like, in general, we're Islamophobic, but we're cool with Saudi Arabia. Yeah,
but I come from an area where people who are, like, irrationally in pro-Republic. I mean, things have changed now, so these are complicated. But I remember watching people be so pro-Republican, pro-Israeli government, and then being the most anti-Semitic people I've ever met in my life.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the evangelist. Part. That's why the GOP is pro-Israel.
Well, this is so. I try. I mean, I am.
I don't necessarily want to talk about Israel.
I just want to tell you about being a failed comedian. That's where I was going to go with that. But
what I wanted to say is that, like, that there's this for like there's the stoner thing of like, oh, our money isn't even real, it's a construct. Like, our money is backed by something, and the reason that
War.
yeah,
It's war
exactly,
machine, baby.
and the reason that we go to war is to keep the people buying, but there was oil in dollars, right? But there was a time that when we were like, there are people that don't know this because
there are kids who don't know that the fucking gas prices can go up to like 9 to 12.
and there are kids
dollars. They don't know that.
Well, that
But they'll be in an
happen
Uber,
in
they
our
won't
life.
care. It'll just affect.
But that
their...
didn't happen in our lifetime.
Oh my God, no, it did actually.
When
before I was driving, I saw I was born in the 70s. And
oh, you were born in the 70s. Okay,
but I mean, I didn't, like, I was 3. I'm not paying it. Like, I was born in 77, the year of the Star Wars.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate for me. I'm now indoctrinated to that horrible program, even though the Mandalorian's all right. Yeah, but when I was a teenager, when I first started driving, gas was like, oh my God, it was like 98 cents a gallon, or I think I remember like 87 cents a gallon.
Wow.
And then I remember a little bit rising, and then we went through a period where it went up to like $4. People freaked out. I don't know if you remember, if you were driving at the time, but people went apeshit. And like, was that the late 90s? Gas prices also fluctuate in where you're at in the country.
Well, but
so if that was happening in Kansas, I know that on the coast it was like. But it had to have been a bit bigger.
There was a time where we didn't fucking like when we went to war with Iraq. There was a time where people did not have a hard on for it, right? And now, like, we have a candidate that's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be at war with everybody, and people are like trying to smear the shit out of her as a Russian and all these things, like, right? So what I find really fascinating, and I would say that's the Bill Maher contingent, like, that's his audience. That's.
Oh, I don't think he's going after Elizabeth Warren. But I can see.
No. I don't think. I think people that are Elizabeth Warren supporters do not realize that she's pro-military. I don't think that, because she never talks. She never talks about it, and that's why. Because if you got into what her actual military policy is,
we live in a war machine. It doesn't matter who wins.
But we didn't always. There were boundaries. We did always do the business of empire. But it was like the wanton fucking just like 7 wars during Obama's presidency is like that shit.
Don't you dare speak ill of my I'm just kidding. Yeah. It's people, whatever.
But to me, that's like that is what for all the good that Bill Maher may do, he still represents that ideology for me.
Yeah. So okay. Actually, you know what? This is a good way to loop this or loop it. I don't know.
Okay.
I was gonna do a knitting term.
Tie it off.
I don't know. I'm not that crafty. I don't make things out of yarn yet, but I'll get there. I know I'll get there. It's going to happen. The point is, you can't. For me personally, he has very salient points on a moderate level, and I know that people don't want to hear that right now. But moderation. I don't. You didn't watch the show that I missed. He made a really. Which is really the story we should have talked about, is Me in Line and Bill Maher, instead of going to this. It doesn't matter. But he made a really good, I feel like he made a really good end of the season point with concern to moderation and vitriol.
I don't agree with that. I think.
No, I want change, but we're at the thing right now. I don't know, man.
Here's where I think he's wrong. And this is
maybe just take him out of the conversation. Let's talk about people in general.
But I do think,
because he represents a lot of people.
But he represents the entire HBO worldview.
Ooh, now we're talking Game of Thrones and Watchmen.
And Vice and Watchmen. Watchmen has also been criticized, which is one of the reasons that I haven't watched that show.
Oh, I mean,
it's been criticized.
It's problematic.
Yeah, it's got some real problematic political shit that I haven't even listened to the question.
Did you watch The Leftovers though?
No.
So good.
But okay.
It's problematic going.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, all of that brand right there is a very interesting thing, because
what's the perfect brand though? What's the perfect?
No, but what I'm saying is, like, okay, they come out with Chernobyl, right?
I didn't. I couldn't watch it. Meghan McCain liked it. How could I watch it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's it. Like all of these institutions that we get our entertainment from have become highly politicized. And Netflix.
Let me disagree with you on that. It's always been that way, and that's the thing. X-Men is totally all of that shit. None of that stuff just didn't. It didn't just come out of fucking nowhere.
Yes,
if you think those decisions weren't being made for Saturday morning cartoons, that's
on television, and I agree with you on that.
We're talking about television, right?
Well, we're talking about HBO. They say it's not at television.
Oh my God! You just ran their tagline. You're like doing their promotion for them.
No, but
they've got you wrapped around your finger.
No, what I'm saying is like even people like John Oliver. I
think he would be the first one to admit that. I mean, he makes attempts to try to.
But he like what I'm saying is that he has atrocious fucking things, rants about Venezuela, where he like. Completely,
I forgot. This is the subject.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that, granted, he is pitching moderation, and he is being platformed on that platform because he's being pitching moderation because he and what's it called? Like I would say that that John Oliver is is exactly for the people that still believe in like scholars that like experts and scholars like on how to run the government, which are like the Elizabeth Warren supporters. And then when she actually starts coming out with policy, you're like fucking like, wait, what did you say about Medicare for all?
I don't disagree with that, but the thing is too, we're getting. I mean, for me personally, when you like, first of all, I've never been to South America. I have many friends from there.
Yeah.
Because I'm white from Kansas, and I've got many friends everywhere.
Yeah.
And I do pay attention, I think, on those topics a bit more than your average American, but I still don't, right? And that's the thing, like, for me personally, when we have this conversation, there's no, I mean, if there was a perfect diatribe or lenience that any of these candidates could take, I mean,
well, I have a problem with all the candidates' positions, even Tulsi's. On
even Tulsi.
Yeah.
I would hope you would have tons of problems with Tulsi, but that's a different story. I mean, that's
like
as my friends from Hawaii say, that bitch is not Hawaiian, but I love it. They love it. They love the fact that that is not a normal Hawaiian behavior. Like, and it's really like.
What do you mean?
It's not the aloha spirit. She's coming out and she's very militaristic, which is not the way. Like, there's a huge military influence in Hawaii. Let's talk about fucking Hawaii. I don't want to. That's my thing. It's like, and America has its own fucking issues. Like, Hawaii is a fucking occupied territory. It is horrifying.
Oh, absolutely. And
so part of the problem with Tulsi that some people don't understand is that even a lot of Hawaiians, they appreciate her military experience and that she's Hawaiian, but they loathe her because she represents the empire. Like, she is.
Well, she's running against it, though.
I mean,
she's running against. She's the only candidate talking about.
I had no idea this is where this conversation was going. Hold on, I should have taken better notes.
She had no idea. Sorry. She's the only person talking about stopping foreign regime change wars.
Oh, if you think that she would actually follow through on that,
well, no. Here's
I would love to show you a mansion.
No, let me tell you what I think is a problem with she's not actually telling us how we're going to solve the problem of our financial dependence on oil. Now, you could do it with a goodwill campaign, right? Where you start giving people aid in exchange for them to not change off of our monetary system. It's not just
We're gonna have to order beer. Hold on.
I'm just saying. I'm giving criticism of her own criticism of regime change policy, but she still is the only person talking about it. There's not a single person she's getting her ass kicked for it.
That's not the whole reason she's getting her ass kicked. But
why do you think the other reason is?
I mean, it's funny that you brought her up.
Okay, yeah, no, I know that she has problems in the gay community, and
yeah. So I'm not even going to start there.
I used to. When I was a kid, I used to be pro-abortion. Does that mean that I'm a piece of shit now?
Well, no. First of all,
I'm just saying.
I don't believe that she's changed on her opinion. That's all I'm saying.
Her record does not reflect those stats.
That she's changed?
That she has changed. Her record, her voting record. She was ahead. She was ahead of Hillary Clinton. she was on gay rights. Hillary Clinton, remember, she was part of the Obama administration, and when we got that shit, it was a fucking disaster.
Can we talk about X-Men now?
Let's do that. That's fine.
No, I hear you, and like it's complicated. The thing, that's the whole like reverberatory phrase. Reverberatory phrase. That's what I keep wanting to say. Reverberatory phrase. I don't care. I will literally your remote control for this game system. I'll vote for that for president. I don't care at this point. My point was about we need to level back to a little bit of moderation and stop attacking each other. The liberals do that. Yes, we need to call each other out.
The liberals are super condescending.
We've got. It's not even just about being condescending and being elitist. And also, by the way, I'm taking back elitist. I will be fine with that. I've actually decided it's fine.
You can have it. I don't want any part of elitism.
Yeah, because our country.
That's imperialism. That's where imperialism comes from. It comes from scholars sitting around thinking.
No, it's a rephrasing of it, though. The thing is, America, in my lifetime, how old are you?
I am 39.
Okay, 39, 42. We're in the same zone. In my experience, I just want to say. And this is something I've had on my chest for a while, so I will get out there. Go for it. I witnessed this like growing up. My father is a public school teacher. My mother worked at the postal. No,
you can like bend the microphone closer so you don't have to keep like scoliosis.
Oh no, I'm active. I have to move. It's like I'm a dinosaur. I have to like move. I wasn't trying to just like verify that kind of movement. Yeah. Gotcha. I'm stupid when it comes to
it's okay. My hand gestures weren't very descriptive.
I'm sorry, audience. I can't wait for all the hate mail for this episode.
I'm the one that's trolling you.
You can totally troll me. I don't know, and I'm prepared for it.
Yeah.
But we are going to have to get beer.
We'll do it before the next
We'll take
episode.
a break and then we'll get some beer. Oh shit! I was on a little tear there.
42.
Okay, so this is going to be a little controversial, but I've thought about it for years, and I don't know. I'm just going to talk about America in general and America's obsession with pop culture, America's appropriation of different elements of pop culture, and I'm speaking of whatever I was exposed to. So, like, I really liked a lot of. I would say, the jazz I listen to is like going mostly early 30s. Like I'm like.
Hold on, I have a button that I press every time a white guy talks about jazz on my show.
Oh, do it, hit it. Well, I love jazz. Whatever, I'm from Kansas City, but I'm also from Kansas City, and and also the majority of people I know hated jazz. Even my musician friends, but I fucking love jazz, and whatever, you can all fuck off. I don't give a fuck. Whatever. Charlie Parker, suck my dick. Let's fuck off. Oh, I'm sorry, am I cussing? Miles Davis is amazing. Whatever.
No, I'm just
fucking. And those are the
you.
Basics, but I'm also talking about like whatever vocalists and Bessie Smith. There was a gorgeous article about like 10 women from 1930 to like 49 during the First World War and to the Second World War that basically shaped American culture. And if you know those voices or you knew them a little bit, it makes a lot of sense when everything you hear, you can feel it. And just anyways, I love that shit, so I don't apologize.
No, that's
but
fine.
My point that
you didn't have to defend that. I was just fucking with you.
Well, I'm white and I get really defensive for no apparent reason. It's true.
You're the only white friend I have left.
That's all right.
A few of them have gotten angry at me.
They're boring. Yeah. White people are boring, but not in a general sense. Just when you know them personally. Yeah. All right. So the main thing I was going to get to is that and whether this is true or not, it's something I felt as a kid that grew up in the year of 1977 and then forward. Culture to me, as far as I watched, I'm talking about not just pop culture. I'm talking about within my school system, and that I went to a private school. AKA I'm white and from Kansas, but
I went to
it was also a shitty
too.
fucking school, by the way. It was a shitty school. But you went to a private school?
Yeah.
We talked about this last time, I think. Maybe in Florida.
No, in Rome. So it's even more bougie.
Oh, bitch. Yeah, exactly. Fuck you. I would have paid to go to that Fellini school. Anyways, I would have died. All those shoes. I'm kidding. Even though I'm gay, I don't care about shoes. You should see what I'm wearing tonight. My thing is that I watched over my like late teen years and early 20s, and whether it's true or not, it's something I perceived, and I tried to bring it up, and it was often not accepted well.
Which is what?
That I felt like we, as a society, I kept seeing people, we wanted to be being dumb or not being, not even literate's the wrong word, but like just not being aware. Like people, like the more it was, let's remember the pre-nerd culture when people would say like, "Oh, you're a nerd," and it became more fashionable. Well, I grew up through a time where like if you were actually interested in things and you engaged and you wanted to like involve someone and like, I don't know, like learn how to like make crystals or something on the weekend. And I'm not talking about meth, but I should have been, because I could have made money. Just like learning shit, there was just an overall sense of like, oh man, that dude's just trying to, you know. And I'm not talking about me. This isn't like a personal vendetta. I mean, just as like an overwash. It was like for our political figures. It was for everything. We kind of this was like, oh, I'd like to have dinner. Like I'd have a beer with George Bush. Yeah. I don't listen to, I'm not into classical music. That's for bougie bullshit people. Like that, not liking jazz, actually. That's a good example.
I like jazz.
But there's
I was just giving you shit for being a white guy.
But I mean, it's a good example though. Like people would say like, oh, I mean, even in my own family, I remember they were like, oh, I don't even know how you're getting in. Like, and I mean, my dad, super straight guy, super sweet, amazing, loves fucking like musicals. I'm a fag, gave a rat's ass, but I grew up listening to like all the Little Shop of Horrors and, you see, I'm a bad gay. I cannot even think of any other ones, but he
Rent.
played musicals. That's getting a little too. Wait, was Rent when someone got AIDS? When did that happen? Yeah. It might have been too much. But yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I just watched that, and it's still happening. And quite frankly, I think it's on. What's the term that everyone doesn't want to say anymore? Like it's on steroids or something.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
I read some article.
That's hacky.
Like, yeah,
it's considered hacky.
I never would have said that, but then I read an article about how everyone's like, you can't say that's on steroids.
Oh, is it problematic now? I just heard comedians say that it's dumb.
Well, it is dumb.
Yeah,
it is dumb. It's like calling anyone a genius. That's dumb too. Yada yada yada. The point is, we were accepting ourselves. Like
I don't disagree with you, but I think that elitism and intelligence are two separate things, right? And I think that one of the things, like for example,
to strive to be elite is not a bad thing. That's all I'm saying. It's not about being elite. Elite is maybe horrible or colonial, but the idea that to strive to be something...
I've just never seen it applied in a non-colonial sense in any...
That's because I think it keeps getting rewashed. That's why I mean,
then you talk about even in brown societies like where there's a caste system, like that's not like, you know, like I would just say that's like a problematic term to try to take back. And I know that you were just like for a white guy, as your friend, I'm looking out for you. Like, don't go to
I'm going to do it. I've decided. Didn't like Milos, whatever his horrible name, make his whole career on that for a half
Monopolis,
second?
Yeah. And then he was down with pedophilia.
He was so terrible.
Yeah.
I couldn't even, oh my God.
Hey, wait, do you want to talk about Epstein?
Do you think about I refuse to go into conspiracy theories until the current administration is gone.
And that's what they want.
Oh, please. The Clintons did it. I don't know why you're talking. Please.
Well, actually, impeachment's an interesting thing. Like that they could actually legitimately impeach him for so many different things. They picked the one thing that's probably not going to hold water. They could
nothing would have worked. It's not going to work. None of it will work.
It's not going to. The reason they won't impeach him for the things that are legitimately impeachable for, like emoluments and things like that, is because they're all fucking in that game and they don't want to ruin that game.
That's partially true, but it also goes back to what I was saying. People don't want the majority of the American public does not understand. Actually, if you look, I'm not a huge poll person, but I'm talking just general polls. The American public doesn't actually understand any of what's happening right now.
Oh, I don't either. I mean, I don't know. I
know
understand.
The highlights. Yeah,
I know what's happening. I know what's being accused, but I hear the fucking clips of the guy being like, "Hey, so you said this," and like there was a clip of one guy where he's like he mentions 4 different conversations in his clarification that he added as an addendum. This is like totally not fair, but it's like it really is. It's such it's like when people say that you can't you like that why Trump and people like that win is because their message is simple, and whereas like you have Hillary Clinton who's like, well, you have we want to do
Yeah.
this and this
Well,
and
this
all
is-
these policy like nuanced policy details, right? And like
this is Elizabeth Warren's problem. Actually.
yeah, exactly. So well, I didn't want to shit on Warren in this case, but because we had
I
already,
love her,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's a problem.
yeah.
It's a major
Well,
problem.
she's
And
she's
also-
pretty much almost done at this point. I would say, like, just because
it's Mayor Pete forever. But
yeah,
anyways,
no, I mean Pete is taking her people. Yeah,
we'll see. I don't. I've lived through these
in
things
Iowa
before.
at least. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, have you been to Iowa? Hey, babies, it's sweet.
I have listeners in Iowa. So
Me too. I do too.
We're not going to talk shit, but
I have tons of listeners in Iowa.
I have.
But we
like,
have a phrase in
one
Kansas.
download
We do
in
have
Iowa.
a.
What's your
Can I
phrase in
say it?
Kansas? Yeah.
Sorry, this is a horrible joke. In Kansas, if I meet someone from Iowa or damn it, now I'm ruining it. But usually people, I'm like, oh, I'm from Kansas. They're like, oh, I'm from Iowa, and I was like, oh, we have a saying in Kansas, and they're like, what? And I'm like, why would you ever go to Iowa? And thank you. See,
It's just so mean.
yeah, but the thing is, Iowans say the same thing about Kansans, so it's actually a funny joke.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
people have no fucking sense of humor. It's really sad.
Yeah, they get mad.
Why would you go to fucking Kansas? I don't know. I mean, I could show you an amazing time, but you
Yeah.
don't want to see it. You don't want to see
I
it.
don't want to go to those parts of town.
You do. You do. I'm gonna take you to. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Actually, we're gonna do a on the road. We'll make a anti-religiosity Bill Maher film, and we'll go to Kansas and find all the most amazing.
I think. Okay, my problem with the anti-religion thing, and I understand where that comes from, but I find that is like
It's smug and elitist.
no. It's not. It's not that it's smug. It's unreal fucking listic. The idea that you are going to eradicate superstition from an entire population who has historically been dependent on that.
So he shouldn't try, though?
No. I just think he's a modernist in that sense. I don't think that he has the capacity to sort of be like, people have died over religion. People have died over ideology in general, right? Like people have died over resources as well. It's not just about religion. So he's just like, people are dying right now over his ideology. So there's like even an intrinsic hypocrisy there where he's like, oh yeah, droning's cool,
He's not droning's cool, but oh my god.
He's not droning's bad.
Okay, first of all, hi, Bill. Oh, can we tell the real? Jesus.
Oh yeah, you can tell the story.
Oh my god.
I just wanted to get you fired up because we were having
don't-
we were having fun last time, so we didn't really step into these areas. But I'm curious about this shit and like.
I'm having fun now, so
yeah.
don't. It's not.
No. But
Please, you cannot rattle me.
I didn't think that I could. I would never do this to anybody that wasn't you because you
You would have to be a lesbian woman of color, and you would have to really come at me with a piece of glass, and then maybe.
Have you seen the Dave Chappelle Sticks and Stones thing?
You mentioned this, and I haven't finished it. No.
Okay,
I'm in a sensitive moment right now. I can't. I'm starting to watch. I'm oversaturated by culture.
Yeah.
Culture or just media, and I'm having moments where I'm like, I just can't.
I like that distinction.
Well, it's not culture. It's media. And as someone who makes it, I understand. I mean, whatever. Yeah, I'm glad you caught that. Yeah, I try to catch myself on my own bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, culture is not whatever. And again, American culture, hilarious.
Yeah.
What we used to think was like something, or at least I was raised to believe, was like this. I don't know, that there was an end goal. I mean, a lot of that's been squelched. Like even the last hiccups of like, oh.
He did a masturbating motion when he said hiccups. It was.
I was actually strangling a chicken, but it's the same thing. I guess you're right. It wasn't near my crotch.
It wasn't very Heimlich-y.
I was actually like pulling the chicken's head off and like feathering it is what I was doing.
I think you're gaslighting me right now.
No, that's actually I'm being honest with you. That was what's going through my head. I'm watching a lot of these YouTube videos on how to survive in the mountains by yourself.
Okay.
So
you're definitely not a vegetarian.
Actually, it wasn't even a chicken. It was like an Alaskan quail. So you have to put the wings down on the floor and then you have to grab it by its legs and pull it, and it actually comes through the body really quickly. And I was like, oh, I could do that.
That sounds like fun.
I don't want to, but I was like, I can do that. So I'm trying to learn these things.
Are you also worried about the world post-apocalypse thing? Is that why you're trying to learn how to survive in the mountains, or is that just a hobby?
No, it's because I'm moving to the mountains.
And
But
you're
I
gonna
am
just kill
not.
quail like that?
There's not.
I wonder if you could, if like a quail walks, because I know that like there are people that have.
You have to shoot
backyards.
them and like. I mean, or whatever. I'm gonna do something. You have to capture them. You
I
cage
picture
them.
you like hiding in camouflage, half naked.
The audience can't see me flipping my hair, but I'm saying yes, exactly. Days upon days going. Excuse me.
So tell me the story of why you didn't get into
Bill Maher.
into Bill Maher.
Okay, really quickly. It's mostly my fault. So I don't want to blame him too much, but I was in a rampage the night it happened. I got the tickets last minute. I begged for them. Because it was the season finale. I had no idea. I did not know this. And so online, I like wrote this intricate essay, and I was like, oh my God, I'm in town for like 30 seconds. And like,
Oh, you got it from them?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a free ticket, but it was like they were sold out.
Oh,
and I
okay.
sent them a side note, and I was like, listen, I just coincidentally I'm in town. I'm here for a few things. I happen to be like in walking distance of the studio.
I believe in droning.
I believe
I don't
in
like it.
I believe
I don't
in
like
droning,
Muslims.
all that stuff. I was like, I went through the whole litany of that stuff. And the guest list, like, other than, I mean, Donna Brazil, whatever, she's fine. You hate her. That's a different.
I know. I don't hate her. I
like-
just know that she's part of a. She's
part of the machine, blah, blah, blah.
No, she came out as part of a cover up, and like no one talks about that shit.
She's on Fox News. I think that's pretty clear.
Well, but that's fucked up. She has to be on Fox News because she betrayed.
That's not exactly what's happening, but I know what. That's okay.
She told the truth about. Oh, come on, dude. That's not what's happening. Anyway,
Also,
sorry. Tell the story. Tell the
Have
story.
you ever had a job where people weren't pulling bullshit? That's all I want to know. Like, have you ever been?
This is our electoral process, you motherfucker.
Please. Wow.
You know they got sued.
You are naive.
No, you know they got sued. No, I'm not. They got sued, and they said that they had no responsibility.
defensive.
They got sued, and they acknowledged that they had no responsibility to the voters to not rig the election, and so they have publicly stated that it is within they think it is within their purview to rig elections in the primary, the Democratic Party.
Listen. That whole thing was fucked up.
Yeah.
But also, do we believe in forgiveness? That's all I'm asking.
What we do if you repent, but if you start saying Russia, 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 and then you spend 2 years and then you empower Trump to get reelected, and now you're doing this impeachment thing so that motherfucker.
Wait, how's she empowering Trump to get reelected?
When you start the Muellergate shit, you know that was,
You're blaming Donna Brazil?
No, I'm talking about Clinton now. Sorry.
Okay, first of all, you didn't even mention her name. This is what happens. Okay, you know
Oh,
what?
yeah,
they say there's what's the phrase like the Trump they're like there's this phrase the right uses.
You were not, up until she lost, you were not allowed to criticize Hillary Clinton.
That's not true. People. Oh, I'm sorry. You guess you don't live in Berkeley or the
No,
Bay
no.
Area or.
I
anywhere?
don't. I live in it's funny because you said that I live in a Los Angeles bubble, but I find that bubble is not as progressive as people say it is.
I don't think it's that. No,
okay.
Just to be clear,
Oh,
I know
misunderstood.
It's not.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not. It's definitely not the Bay Area bubble. But the Bay Area bubble is not
Well, now it's a tech bubble.
It's pretty conservative. It's a very conservative.
It's conservative and technocratic, but progressive. Well, that's one of the things that I was going to say. I think that this Crystal Ball, who's a commentator also, a la Bill Maher, she has a show on YouTube. It's for The Hill TV, which is like suspect as fuck because The Hill will let anyone write whatever op-ed, like some
I don't know her,
dumb shit.
but-
Okay, so her point is that where Elizabeth Warren is missing the mark with the broader community is that, or let's actually make it simpler for someone like Pete Buttigieg.
This turned it into a Joe Rogan show, but go on.
Oh well, we were talking about him before.
I know.
Yeah.
I just want the audience to know.
Yeah. So what's it called? So
Should we just get stoned too? Let's do it.
Oh yeah, I have weed.
I want beer first, but go on. I'm sorry. I'm being white and interrupting. Go on.
So I forgot what I was saying.
Ball Hill show.
Oh, Crystal Ball. So what she says.
Crystal Ball is
Yeah,
her
I know.
name.
She's a white girl, but I think she's from actually Kentucky, or maybe Kansas. I don't know.
I hope it's her real name.
No,
She's
it is.
not from
It is.
Kansas. I would know it. Believe me. We get memos on this shit.
on the celebrities that come from there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so she
Fuck
said,
Pompeo. Go on.
"Oh yeah, fuck Pompeo for real." So she says that that where people like Buttigieg are going wrong is that they're not doing economic populism, they're not doing economic leftist policies, they're not economic progressivism, but they are doing the social progressivism, which is being pro-gay rights and things like that. And so where I agree with you, there is some like where I agree with you that there may be some validity to the moderation, but I think that the moderation that like I think that Bill Maher is very much like
You have got it out for her. Go on.
no, Bill, yeah, oh yeah. I mean, all of us on the left do because like
Not true.
no, you're
I
not.
love you, Bill. I love you.
You're not left. You're
You
centrist.
have no idea how left I am, actually.
But okay,
I'm a real socialist, but shut up.
you're a socialist. I didn't know this. Then how
Hardcore.
the fuck do you listen to this guy and not pull your hair out?
Because I live in I'm trying to get there. That's the thing. That's
So
the
what?
goal.
So okay. So what I would say is that where Bill Maher gets wrong is that he is not progressive on economic issues, and that is an issue of class. I don't think that's why he's like I like Amy Klobuchar and not Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren.
He loves Bernie, but he doesn't push them. I know.
He promoted him the first time around, in 2016. I'll give him that, but he's not. He's like buying this idea that the bubble that he lives in of all the rich motherfuckers. What he is wrong is that he is very condescending to the Midwest and all that in terms of like get over it, gay people can marry and shit like that. And then when it comes to progressive policies, I think he has it backwards. I think that what Bernie Sanders does right is that he's on the right side of that shit, but he doesn't. And this is all crystal ball's points: is that he's not like Elizabeth Warren, who's doing her. And all of that shit. Like he doesn't say Latinx.
Wait, are you regurgitating her criticisms of Bill Maher?
No, I am regurgitating her. I am sharing her criticisms of
Bernie.
No, she supports Bernie. Of
that version.
of this
You're the lump of place you're putting Bill Maher. I get it. Okay.
Yeah,
That space. Okay.
Yeah, the space of like.
I was just having a hard time following.
We're righteous when it comes to. We're on the right side of history when it comes to civil rights issues. Like, but when it comes to worker issues, we don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, he's still whatever. Oh my god. All right, Bill, we love you. I mean, I'm sorry.
We is a lot of people in this room.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely not the
You're
other
like
person.
two people in here.
I'm just saying.
I
Like,
used to
here's
like
the thing.
him. Yeah.
I like people. So. Okay, let's even agree that his policy. Like, I just don't like demonizing him. Other people will want to like kill. Like, they're one. Oh, so let's go to the
I don't
story.
demonize him. I just think he's wrong.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
and you know what?
Yeah.
Like the McLaughlin group. We'll agree to disagree politely.
Discuss.
And I mean, I get shit all like. Believe me, if I got in trouble, if I got like, what is it, a nickel for every time I got in trouble for defending Bill Maher, I would have a lot of money.
And you are his surrogate.
I'm not a surrogate at all. And again, he bothers me sometimes too. But I appreciate. I believe in free speech. I believe in the voice.
Oh yeah.
And so
But I also think that Alex Jones shouldn't be deplatformed.
Yeah, and that one's complicated for me, but I agree too. It's hard. It's a rough one. It's a rough
we agree.
one.
Yeah. I don't.
That girl, it's crazy.
No, that dude is fucking lunatic.
She's out of her mind.
But hey, like.
Also, Glenn Beck, can you pick a side?
What the fuck is going on with Bill Kristol too?
Well, he's actually, well, that's the thing.
He's on the left, quote unquote.
No, he's not left. he's just centrist. But this is actually a point I was trying to get to. And it's taken the Trump administration. Oh, God, sorry. Can we bleep that? We don't want to say that name out loud.
That's fine.
I mean, I'm really trying not to give any promotion on that. I'm like Whoopi. Do you know Whoopi doesn't say his name?
He's plenty good at promoting himself.
I know that, but do you watch The View? You don't watch The View?
No, that's a fucking thing I hate.
The View is amazing.
The View is this is.
It's I know, but I know why you hate it, and I do too. But it's also.
But you watch it with irony. People don't. People watch it and
no.
With
But if you actually want to know
sincerity.
you want to know why the suburbs are changing, and you know why Trump is
Yeah.
Beep. Why that's not going to work for him? Watch The View. They actually do have an amazing. It's horrible.
Why would I watch the most depressing thing? I watch that and I'm like, oh, this is what the people on the left are saying, quote unquote. Joy Reid, and all these people, and I'm like, we're going to fucking lose again. Trump is going to, yes, but like,
well, we're totally going to lose.
Yeah,
again.
But why would I watch that? I know it's already going to happen.
It's really sad, but Mayor Pete is honestly probably the only way to win, and that's because it'll be crazy.
We're just like,
no, that's because
the liberals, black people are going to vote for him. No one's going to come out. No one's going to come out.
I don't know if that's true, actually, but.
I'm not going to go out. I'll tell you right now. If he's our candidate against Trump, I'm not going to vote for a Democrat.
So awesome. So you just want Trump? You want him to be back in?
I would 100% rather the continuation of the Trump administration exposing the fucking craziness than have a slick guy. I wouldn't vote for Obama again.
All right. This officially became my show. I get to hold this whole recording. I want that. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Dude, this is going out to my listeners. If Obama ran again, if Hillary Clinton ran again, I would vote third party. Again. Well, I didn't vote. I voted for Obama. I voted for Obama.
And again, your vote doesn't count because you're in Los Angeles. But that said, the general.
But you say that. But what is? I
find that I say that sadly. It's disturbing when I say it.
But I voted for the candidate that supported the Green New Deal. Now, what is being discussed all over the fucking media? The Green New Deal.
Not so much anymore right now, but it will be again.
Yeah.
And hopefully so. I'm just sad because whatever. I just want.
I'm just so shocked that you. Okay, I like when you talk.
I'm not a fan. I just want to be clear.
You said you love The View.
Oh, no, I love The View. I'm talking about. I'm just shocked that you would vote third party, or because the thing, or do.
I vote third party if Warren gets elected. I am anti-war.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then we've accomplished. Okay.
Until I get a and that's.
Since you're in Los Angeles, I'm gonna let it go. But I'm talking about your.
I would
do
that shit in Florida if I was still in Florida.
But that hurts me because that affects so many other people's lives.
Sorry.
It's a huge difference. There's a huge difference.
What's the difference that's happening to people? White people got hooked on opioids. Brown people got bombed. People were put in cages at the border. We made coups in other countries, in Honduras, that the only reason that the crisis has gotten so bad at the border is because of those policies. We bombed 7 new countries. He ran against going to war. I'm sorry, like I don't buy that narrative. And
well, then you don't. Then you're not a union worker, and you don't understand. Like the thing is, like
the unions got fucked by Obama and Bill Clinton.
I'm not
partially. 100%.
They've gotten destroyed by the current administration.
No.
Yes, they have. That's actually they have.
The WUA just striked and they had fucking Bernie Sanders walking with him. They have the teachers unions have been getting their raises. People are striking for the first time. The only reason that shit is happening is because shit is so crazy right now.
That I don't disagree with.
Yeah,
I do like that. That's the only decent thing this person in the office has
done. I'm sorry to be so hard about this. I'm just getting defensive about the idea that I need to that I am helping the other side. There is no other side. My point is that there is no other side. It's me versus the ruling class.
And I don't disagree. And so you didn't take me on my word last time. I am actually pretty fucking hardcore leftist.
Yeah.
My thing is, and this is just my experience in life, and I might be wrong, and I am privileged as a white person in Kansas, even though it was a very poor area.
No. I'm not making no assumptions. This privilege has nothing to do with this conversation. I'm privileged in the same. I have privileges that brown people don't have, like almost equal to yours. The only thing is that people are Islamophobic towards me, and I'm like, why? I'm not even Islamic.
I see. I'm sorry. Didn't realize it was so close to the topic. Bill, you better work on that. It's rough. It's rough out there, and this is what I was saying. The thing that was making me sad is just realizing that, Yeah, of course. I mean, for me, of course it's a class thing, and it's deeply, and it's always been that way.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't understand when I came to California. I can't even tell you how naive I was about certain things, and not like that's not being stupid. This isn't about being like uneducated. This was just like where I grew up. There were certain topics that like they weren't discussed because we weren't marginalizing each other. And I know now he's some of these topics have been overtaken again. So as a white guy, it's hard to say like, oh, I grew up someplace where we didn't have to be like, oh, I'm this and I'm that. Like when I came out, like one of the reasons that I hesitated on coming out was not because I thought everyone was going to be like homophobic, like directly. Of course, I was in a Catholic area, and there was a bit of that. But it was mostly like there was certain shit we didn't talk about. Like everyone was like, if you just do your thing, you go on and do it. And those days are gone. I got it, but I'm getting the memo. But there's a weird. I guess there's a moment for me realizing, and I mean, it totally could be nostalgia on a certain degree. Like I watch other people, my parents' age, my parents and other folks. Now I'm pontificating.
That's fine.
Like I have very long arms, audience, so I'm like doing this amazing shadow dancing.
Yeah, I've still only had one guest who uses their hands so much that they kept bumping into the mic.
And I have not done that.
And it's the guest that's out this week.
I'm strangulating around it. The point is, I just want us to figure out a way to come together against this, and then like I'm all for the infighting. I'm all for making sure. Like, but I just know. But the people that support. I guess the thing is, like, when you're tired of hearing that comment about like picking a side, or if you do this, you're like helping the other side. I respect that 100%. I just have to say, as someone who has the privilege of being, I mean, when I say privilege, that's in quotation marks. It's a horrifying thing that's been my whole life, but unfortunately, been in the conversations with people who think very deeply different. They manipulate this, and they love this. Oh, God. Don't know me very well. My point.
No, that's fine, and I love that you're trolling me.
I'm not trolling you. I'm actually not trolling you.
I don't.
But
feel
I do say things. I know, like there's.
No. I don't feel like. By the way, we had a moment where the computer froze. So I'm apparently the CIA did not want you to say
I was
what
about
you were
to make
about
the most amazing.
Well, you were saying something about.
I was probably going to be the speech that would have launched me for like some sort of congressional campaign. Honestly.
Well, you were saying something about how the people in the part of the country that you grew up in.
I just know for a fact. Like, fact is a strong. In these days, what is a fact? When it comes to the right in particular, and the libertarians who I used to, on some level, have some agreements, and I still do. The thing is, it's not a line; it's a circle. The far left and far right actually meet at a very close point. Actually, when you meet people of those true feelings, you'd be surprised.
I have a theory about why that happens, but go ahead, finish your point.
The thing is that all I know is that the people who are more moderate, there's no moderate right anymore, but whatever, because quite frankly, they're zombies, and I'm tired of like making excuses for them because I lived through it. I'm really bored with it. But when it comes to the right, generally speaking, and this does happen on the left, I'm not gonna like pretend it doesn't. But on the right, the far right, the difference between what's happening is those people. I know I'll get in trouble for that. But there's a general sense when I speak to people who are far conservative and the right, and mostly speaking about abortion or the two topics that got Trump elected, essentially judicial nominations, gun rights, maybe, and I forgot what the third one is. Whatever, I always forget. They're horrible. But the thing is, I didn't mean to say they're horrible. I just meant to say, and they are horrible. The
issues are horrible.
They're horrifying. Yeah. When I talk to them, like when I have when I have an intense conversation with someone, the thing is, what I've discovered, and this is where I stick with it, and this is what hurts when I have these conversations about how we're going to change the world, and I'm all for it. They want revolution. You want revolution. By you, I meant anyone, like on the left. We want this thing. I want it. But the means to getting there is different. And quite frankly, if you dig below the surface enough, the majority of those folks I don't go into those racial points, generally speaking. They're there. I'm like from Kansas. I see that. The main concern that I have is that it's actually selfishness. There's like guise of selfishness, and it's pioneering. Actually, it's the whole like go west.
Yeah.
And so it was like these.
It's a very negative sense of freedom.
Their whole anti-government thing comes from the fact that the government actually, the majority of those families, and I'm not saying directly.
These were all independent states. These were all independent countries, and then like that was the original idea of the state system in the U.S.
Yes.
And the federal government was kind of a radical.
Well, they
idea.
were already trying to get away from that to begin with.
Yeah.
This is how Mormonism started. This is how this is why the extreme Christianity, like when you go, I'm a Catholic, or I was raised Catholic. When I moved back to,
No, that's fine.
When I went back to central Kansas, which I had only driven through as a kid. I grew up in eastern Kansas, which is like Kansas City, Kansas, and that's Missouri essentially. Like the reverberations of the war, they're silly, but they play out in the college teams and the divisions. Mm-hmm. It's weird. I didn't know that. I don't do that kind of thing. But it took me a while to realize, like, oh,
that's
shit.
like historic. In Italy, the two teams in Rome, one is fascist and one is not.
No.
One was Lazio is fascist. That's why I'm a Romanista because
No.
But okay, so
is yes in Greek. Sorry, I keep saying that.
So just I want to make 2 points about that. First of all, right now, the way that the left has through neoliberalism has capitulated.
That's a broad term, neoliberalism. Go on.
No, it's not. It's a very specific term. It speaks to a very specific form of policy that is not conservative, or you can be a neoconservative and also apply neoliberal policies. Which would be things like free trade and stuff like that. So what I would say to you is that thing where people reach all the way out, they go so far left and so far right. There's 2 reasons that it ends up looking like they come back together at some point. First of all is that the conservatism that we've seen for a very long time has been neoconservatism in our entire lifetime. What we saw under Reagan was actually neoliberalism. Okay? So
yeah,
they weren't.
Yes,
yeah, no, not kind of. That is what. And so when we got Bill Clinton, and that shit was going on with Margaret Thatcher as well, right? She's not considered a liberal, but it is. It's.
She's not a liberal, but they have different systems in her.
But neoliberalism is, and our country used to be democratic socialist. Right after the war.
Neoliberalism for the audience, then, because for me, when you say that,
neoliberalism is liberal on social issues, conservative on economic issues. Neoliberalism believe in free trade.
Yeah, then I would argue you can't say that about Reagan, but I mean,
no, Reagan believed in free trade.
That's one topic. That's the point. There's a wide range.
Where was he? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But you're talking about social issues. No, but then he was like completely.
He was conservative. He was conservative when it came to gay rights and stuff. But
I wasn't just speaking for that, but and unions. He was against.
Neoliberals are against unions.
Neoliberals are
Yeah. What do you call exporting jobs?
Well, that's all right.
No, that's not. That's exactly what that is.
Again,
No.
I get you.
It goes to a broader point that I'm making.
There's a gray zone on all of these.
No, there's not.
There actually is.
No, there's not. Obama on foreign television said that if you looked at his policies, that he would be considered a moderate Republican.
Yeah, okay. I don't.
Yes. So who would have been considered a moderate Republican?
What do you mean? Like from their party?
From in the 80s would have been considered a moderate Republican.
Yeah, I can. Yes, you can equivocate Reagan on that level. Sure, but these are giant generalisms. It's also
these are not generalisms. These are not,
no,
because when we start
Obama's conservative. I'm not going to argue
the reason that Bill Clinton ran as a new Democrat.
Yeah, that was to get elected in the South.
Yes. No, that's not what it was about.
No, I mean the policies
the
as
new
well.
Democrat was that he was essentially an economic Republican. That's why he did Glass-Steagall and all of those
That's
things.
why they hated him that much too. You understand?
Because because he appropriated their shit and they couldn't really fucking talk about.
But he got cross-platform things done as well, and also did some other.
He did it because he was a neoliberal and because they allowed it was. Corporate power allowed those kinds of policies. That's why Robert Reich got fired he was somebody that was pushing against the neoliberal policies of. So hold on.
Sure,
Let me make the broader point because we are actually at like an hour and 13, and I do want to get those beers for the next one.
Beer, yeah.
Okay.
Because we're gonna need a girl.
Yeah, but okay. So my point about
and I can say girl.
Our country. People, I've had guests on the show, and I find it very interesting because people are very worried that we are going to be living in a fascist state. I propose that we already are.
Oh, I agree. We totally are.
We are 100% in a fascist state. Now, fascism, for that to be possible, that means that both parties have to be so far right that you can live in a fascist country. So what I'm saying is that, okay, so what ends up happening is that now both people that are socially conservative, that don't like gay people, that don't want to bake cakes, are starting to realize.
Really, you had to bring up the cakes. Go on.
No. Yeah, I mean, that, like, let's be condescending to them, right? Because we think that shit is ridiculous.
It's the worst topic. It was they wanted that though too. It's horrible, but anyways.
But they're
no one cares who bakes your cake.
Those people are catching on to the fact that the people that have been sending dog whistles to them have been fucking lying to them for years. The most egregious, most recent one is Donald Trump, right? But they got fucked over during the Bush era as well because the economy crashed during his time. They don't forget that. We also, Obama, you want to talk neoliberal policies, Obama being a right-winger, he didn't prosecute anybody, one person, when the economy crashed. He didn't bail out people.
I never said there weren't huge problems.
No, I'm just saying. What I'm proposing here is that both parties are right. We have a center-right party and we have a far-right party because within the public, because the fact that, and so, but that's my problem with people like Bill Maher. That because and that's my problem with people like Obama because Obama, black president. Social conservatives going crazy, but left-leaning liberals, his rhetoric was entirely about hope and change. They lie to us now and tell us that he never said that he always ran as a centrist. That's bullshit. He said we were going to get out of wars. He took us to 8 more wars. He's a fucking tragic-ass figure because you listen to him talk now, and it's like, it's pathetic. Like, him trying to hold on to his fucking legacy and talk to people that actually need things. You know, bro, you know what it's...
I'm listening, but the thing is, too, I want to know, like, do you have an idealistic society? Like, the one exists right now. Like, what country? Please tell me, because...
Well, okay.
I've traveled a lot.
I will tell you this.
Yeah.
With the U.S. empire in place, a lot of countries that have tried to take their own resources and give them to their own people, specifically Venezuela... Costa Rica. No. The only reason that we've never invaded Costa Rica, you want to know why? They don't have anything we need. What are we going to take? Their fucking sugar cane?
I mean, I can't speak about that. But we did take Puerto Rico, and it's horrifying. And we don't help them, and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm with you on, like, we are actually not that far apart. But the thing is, the difference that we have, I think, and this is all I wanted to, like, emphasize before we go get beers.
Yeah.
Is that I'm just speaking from the perspective, like, the thing is, like, we have idealism and and I am so 100% for that, but I also know that I don't know, I didn't grow up coastal. I've seen it. It was all new for me. But where I grew up, those people are struggling too, and so it wasn't a surprise, and it won't be a surprise when he gets reelected at all. I'm so prepared for it.
I wasn't surprised at all when he got elected.
But I will tell you this: this is something that people on the coast don't realize, other than maybe these elections. And this is why I would want you to be a little more optimistic and maybe bend your. If it's not perfect for you, but bend to the party that's at least trying to go in that direction. I know that's your thing.
Because no, it's not my thing.
I'm talking about other people though. So their lives are being completely fucked over, and the worse
their lives
it gets.
What my whole thesis has been this whole time is that their lives are already getting fucked over. No matter who
they're
you
in a
vote
trap for sure.
It doesn't matter. We voted for a black guy, dude. We voted for a fucking black guy. That's how desperate the country was that white people in Michigan, in Wisconsin, voted for a fucking black guy.
You're missing a few facts on that, though, because the thing is, America's like a rubber band, and it always has been. No, it is.
Did Bush get 2 years? Did the first Bush get 2 years?
And it's a rarity, but there's a reason for that too. He made two major mistakes, and it was a different society at the time, actually, with concern to the way that the voting population and the way the information was distributed leaned to the reason that he did not get reelected. And it also goes to show that the shadow government that people seem to think is happening so much, him getting not elected again is actually a big deal.
We haven't even gotten into the CIA and the love, the fucking blowjob that the Democrats have been giving the CIA. The most Machiavellian shit, and this is something that...
You are on a tear, girl. I like it.
Dude.
I can't wait.
Look, man, the bottom line is this. I agree with you that I need to be sensitive to... that's why I have a problem with the idea of elitism. I agree with you. I need to be sensitive to the needs of the people in those small towns, the non-coastal.
I'm speaking toward... When I say elitism, I'm speaking to the idea that we need to, embrace the idea that information is not bad. Learning is not bad. No, you don't have to be in a conversation and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so dumb."
But I think that
which is what we do. No, I'm just talking culturally as an American.
But I think people that are that take the time to learn that, like quote unquote intellectuals, are super condescending to people that have that interest. And I don't think so. Actually, I think that is the huge cultural problem. I think that's why. I think that's where the idea of telling me who I should vote for comes from. And I don't think that. I think that that's something that we have as a culture been propagandized to believe, that it's our responsibility to vote for the lesser of two evils, where my take is,
well, we should have a parliamentary election system, but we don't.
All of that is beside the point. My take is that you want to fucking win an election, you have to come for my vote. All of these centrists are losing power. Bernie Sanders shit, no matter what the fuck they've tried to do with this Machiavellian shit where Hillary Clinton has huge relationships with the Russians, and then when fucking Donald Trump gets in office, they don't even have anyone they can contact at the Kremlin because they don't know anyone. So it's
Bernie. It's Bernie for you.
Oh, it's absolutely Bernie for me.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Oh, and everybody on the show knows that. He is terrible when it comes to leftist politics. He should be running an international movement. He did a good job coming out against Bolivia, but he shouldn't be calling Maduro a tyrant. He should, that is capitulating to the narrative that the neoliberals want, which is bullshit, which is the idea that we need to overtake Bolivia to take their fucking...
Totally fine. I know. Yeah, I know.
So the only countries that we give a fuck about are the ones that try to give their shit back to their people. We did that in Libya. We installed the slave state. Hillary Clinton did that. So when you tell me voting for the lesser of two evils makes the world a better place, I don't buy into that.
Yeah, it's not exactly what I was saying. I'm leaning towards. I'm repeating. I'm just leaning towards what's better. I never said lesser of two evils because actually that's not how I feel. I think that one's not as evil. I heard you, and I believe you. I take you at your word. I don't necessarily fall into that completely. I would love a whole upending of this.
I think it's coming. Governments collapse all the time. That's the other thing that people
Yeah,
get.
I actually think it's way sooner than people. I mean, I think it's.
And I think it'll be a great thing.
It's going to be happening in the next 12 months, actually, or so. He's not going to let go of office. So this is no matter.
I think that's how's he going to stay in office? This isn't he's not going to have the military. This isn't the fucking.
Wow, are you really watching? I don't think so.
Okay, let me tell you how that works in other countries. The only reason that people don't give up power is because they have the backing of the United States military.
He's going to be in a clusterfuck, but it's going to be
the U.S. military is never going to be his fucking people.
But also,
they're never gonna. That's never gonna happen.
Okay, let me reframe that. I didn't. What you misunderstood what I just said. Okay. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about what he's going to do. So it's going to turn into like an O.J. Simpson white Bronco thing. He's going to hide.
It already did with Hillary Clinton losing the election. That she didn't concede. She's like, oh, it was the Russians, and now we have to go on an investigation for 2 fucking years because she can't just accept that she's shit and that people don't want a fucking slave state in Libya. You know, the reason that North Korea would not disarm.
Yeah.
That would not give up their nuclear weapons is because Libya did. And what did we do when they did? We fucking took them over. Over the franc.
Did you see the news on North Korea this week?
No,
or in
what
the
happened?
last 24 hours?
No, what happened?
Look it up. Let's go get some beer.
Well, maybe because John Bolton's gone and he's not saying the Libya model.
No, they basically said we're not going to be Trump's media piece anymore. This whole thing was a sham. This is fucked.
Oh, yeah. No, that's because of Trump. I'm not defending Trump. I'm saying
I know that.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I'm not conflating them. I'm just
okay.
This is like
the
whole
thing.
thing.
You did a mic drop.
Well, I'm just tired of Hillary's gone actually. And
no, she's not.
Yeah, she's
still in the fucking. The only reason Tulsi Gabbard is still a relevant candidate.
She made one fucking comment. One comment.
And this motherfucker
can't. One comment. I mean, she's a public figure. Can she make? It was a fucked up comment. I agree.
She is It's not just one comment. She is questioning a service member, a woman of color. There is so many fucking problems with what she is doing, and the same shit happened with what's her face with Smirky McFace Job, the Nancy Pelosi who's gonna get fucking thrown out.
You were talking about Pete Buttigieg.
No, Smirky McFace Job is.
You need listen. She's an old lady, and so what if she's had some surgery?
She could just be an old lady, but she's a rich old lady.
She's also the.
So I'm not shaming her body. I'm pointing out she can fight youth.
So you don't.
It's a class thing for me.
A class thing because she's an old lady?
No, she's a rich old lady. So that's why she has plastic surgery. Look at all the old ladies in my neighborhood that don't have that shit.
Oh, Christ. Well, first of all, let me take you to a neighborhood with a lot of older Latin ladies with fucking plastic surgery. I know them. I will take you there.
And what class do they live in?
It's not. Oh,
they're upper
Ecuador.
class. Yeah, and they're in the upper class of Ecuador.
Oh, is that what happens? By the way, you get a lot of money in Ecuador for being? Is it? I don't know.
No, well,
I'm from Kansas.
Actually, someone asked what the biggest export or the biggest thing in Colombia was, and someone said plastic surgery, which is hilarious. But anyway, do you have anything?
Me. Let's go.
Do you have anything you want?
We're gonna take a break.
Do you have anything you want to promote?
We're gonna go. Oh, or are we just gonna end the episode?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Do a wrap up. No, and then we'll record another one.
Oh, it's a second.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have anything to promote. I don't care. I'm stupid.
Okay, Peter Max at Peter Max Lawrence on Instagram.
PeterMaxLawrence.com.
And PeterMaxLawrence.com. Oh, I thought you didn't have anything. No, I'm fucking with you now.
I didn't know that. I just thought that was something people looked up on their own.
No, well,
bye, kids.
They'll remember because you plugged it. Definitely have a studio. It's more.
It is nice to have a space to shut everything out.
It would be. It's the same problem that I have with like. Yeah, you probably will need to move.
Are we on?
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay, just want to make sure. Don't ambush me.
But you got to scoot over a little bit on that couch.
Oh, I'm still off?
Yeah.
Really? Is it facing?
No. You're fine. You're fine now. It's just that like.
I'm angular.
Yeah,
I'm sure
no, but you were
like
you were gonna tip over.
No, I wasn't.
It was exhausting me to see you lean like that.
I wasn't gonna. Believe me, I wasn't. It's called scoliosis.
I just realized the control that I exert over where people sit on my couch.
It's fine.
I don't know if it's a weird thing or if it's like if maybe they don't need to be in the exact spot that I think that they need to be to reach the mic. But
Can we talk about my my perspective is
what's
when
that?
you're sitting in a chair that's higher. Are you aware of that?
Is that any better?
It's still higher. It doesn't matter, but you understand these things, right?
Yeah, but I didn't mean it like.
Oh, I know. I didn't say it was like intentional. I just
No,
wanted you
it's
to know
just-
that was happening.
Yeah, well, but I mean also like historically.
So when
TV show hosts sit higher.
Oh, you were doing like a Howard Stern thing. I'm well aware. You were up in your own DJ booth, and I was down here, and like.
Or
just
like Conan O'Brien, or even Jay Leno.
Is everyone lower on those things too? I didn't.
Everybody always is a little bit higher.
The hosts are.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, huh? I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I should know that.
Yeah, but I guess it is intimidating if I come at you about politics.
It's not even. It's not even. No, it's not even that. It's just no. It's not even an intimidating thing. It's subconscious. So
Oh, yeah.
It's not. I mean, it's a subconscious intimidating thing. Oh God, I did get stoned. Okay. All right. Part 2. Do we sing a theme song?
Yeah, welcome to What's My Thesis. I'm your host, Javier Proenza. Every week, my guests and I share the answers we found in the questions we have. Join us as we explore and expand our worldview through research and ask, what's my thesis? And I appreciate all the facial expressions that you made. It was almost like you resented.
No, I was just thinking, how did you memorize all of that? That's all.
I've said 70 episodes.
But I tried to get you to sing one theme song, and you couldn't do. Okay.
Oh,
anyways.
well, it's. I mean,
It's your thing, and that's my thing. I got it.
Well, I messed up like one word when I did it.
It's a really important word.
Mine is like a paragraph, though.
Can we sing my theme song again since it's the second episode?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to take over your show.
No,
Even though
it's okay.
it kind of was my show because you talked a lot last time. I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, I just got defensive when you told me I had to vote a certain way.
I didn't mean it that way. I'm so sorry.
No. But I didn't react necessarily to how you meant it. I reacted to how like broader society says it. But I'm glad that you felt you were like surprised. Well, you said that in the last one I said some things that you were like, whoa. And I'm glad that is the case because I was just like, oh, that's just what I think.
No, and I'm glad.
Yeah. I'm so in my own bubble. That's my bubble.
Yes, I like it. I'm in mine too. It's fine.
Yeah.
No. I was saying that I was happy that you felt free enough to do that because I also do things like that. But people...
Oh, it upsets people sometimes.
It totally does. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, this will probably be your most hated. Well, let's hope it's your most hated episode. I'm just kidding.
No, I think the most hated episodes are probably the ones where I just talk about, like...
Over the guest?
Yeah.
And they were women?
Yeah. And I'm like, shut up, lady.
Oh, my. Yeah, you're no Howard Stern.
That's such a funny way to be a misogynist. Shut up, lady.
Do people say that? I'm kidding. I'm from Kansas.
Yeah. Oh,
we say that all the time. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, we do not. In fact, we don't do the bless your heart thing, but we do the oh. There's a lot of like and ahs and.
Tell me more about Kansas. Kansas is interesting to me.
Let's sing the theme song first. And
Okay. Remind me what it is.
Time.
Even you had to fucking remember it.
Well, I also just got stoned. Time Waster Radio. Radio for those who refuse to listen.
Time Waster Radio. Radio for those who refuse to listen.
Great. And also, I like that you had a little vocal...
Flutter?
Yeah, it was nice.
That was kind of an accident, but I leaned into it.
I mean, I normally sing it better, and this is like nice equipment.
Well, I think the melody was different last time.
No.
The last time was more like, had more of that old-timey radio... Time Waster
Radio. Radio for those who refuse to listen.
So,
okay.
Missouri is where that line of the
river?
Well, that's the KPF and the W. Like on the East Coast, it's W.
Yeah.
So one of the things that the abbreviation for the show, or that initials for the show are WMT, and so I'm always like, oh, it's a WMT radio, but like it's hollow, empty.
I don't even
like my
know.
soul.
I don't know the history of this. So like
So in radio stations that are like WKRP in Cincinnati, do you know what that is? That's like an old TV show.
not only do I know
You
it,
used to watch it because you're older than me by like 3 years.
I think it was one of the first shows I masturbated to. But go on.
I just imagine the like old 90s hair.
And it was probably the blonde woman that I was masturbating to, which makes it even weirder.
Yeah, because you got to remind everybody that wasn't.
Because I'm gay. Because I didn't listen to the first episode. Whatever. I don't care. Do I have to tell you? I don't care.
I'm just teasing you.
I'm pretty sure it was no. Who was the dark-haired guy? Like he was kind of the rascal.
Did you ever watch L.A. Law?
Not. No, I didn't. No, I know what you speak. Wasn't in my wheelhouse, as the kids say. I hate that phrase. Fuck you, Peter. Go on.
I went to school with this. I'm going to name drop here, so just handle it, okay? I went to school with the son of Ursula Andress and a Harry Hamlin. He was
Is this who we were talking about? Harry Hamlin.
Yeah.
That's who I was talking about. The dark-haired.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he was in WKRP in Cincinnati?
Is his name? Oh, wait. Harry Hamlin. Was he the judge on Night Court?
I think he was a lawyer. I think he was a slick lawyer on LA Law. LA Law.
Sorry.
Okay. I mean, there was a bunch.
Mark Hamlin. Harry Hamlin.
Hamlin, yeah.
I think I know who you're talking about. Like
Okay.
Don Johnson, but not. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, and so we would go to the movies, and people would take pictures or ask for autographs of Ursula Andress, who was like, she was like legit. You know the whole scene that in Austin Powers that they spoof, where she's on the beach.
I've never seen Austin Powers film.
Or have you ever watched the original James Bond?
Yes.
She was the original James Bond girl.
Oh, she was in the original. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen that for sure.
Oh, okay.
All the Bonds.
Okay, Dr. No. So she was in
Yeah,
Dr.
well,
No.
duh, of course.
Okay.
Hopefully.
I forgot that like you're into bro culture.
I don't watch. I've never seen. Yeah. I think maybe Austin Powers is where I was like, no.
Yeah.
Because I never saw. I don't really know what the Seth Rogen thing is. I do.
What's the Seth Rogen thing?
Whatever the movies, the Seth Rogen isn't that a thing? He's a comedian.
You're just talking
I'm
about
just saying
something.
I have no idea about any of those movies. I don't know about the I almost said Girls Trip, but it's equivalent now. But the Hangovers and stuff.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of those.
You can miss that.
I couldn't even watch the. I really like the Zach Galifianakis in bits and pieces. I started to watch the film that they did for his TV show, and it was too much. I was just nah.
What film that they did? It doesn't matter.
They made a feature length version of the plants with.
Between Two Ferns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is wow.
That's all podcasters.
I don't know. I got to read the First Amendment again or something. You know?
You're bored?
No, when I was watching, yeah. I used to watch things thoroughly, and even if it was the worst shit, I would be like,
well, you don't necessarily like. What's your access to televisions? Because you're not. You're kind of
it's called it's a computer.
You're living like a transient, right?
I am living like a transit, but still, whatever. It's a laptop and there's Wi-Fi.
Okay.
This question is weird to me. I'm like, I'm actually
hostile?
surprised when people have you have a giant screen in here, which is cool. My parents do too. I don't want to put you guys in the same category, but I'm often when people are like,
"It's for video games."
When I read, people are like, "I don't have a TV." I'm like, first of all, everyone has a TV. It's called their phone, and then okay, if you don't have your phone. Fine.
That's interesting. I didn't think of that. Well,
I haven't had a TV since 2003. No, probably no, since 1998.
But you've had a laptop the whole time. I forgot what.
No, I didn't have a laptop the whole time, but whatever. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was watching Buffy in 1997. So yeah, I must have had a TV going.
You told me you were watching the Doom Patrol.
I was watching. I've only seen the first season.
It's only one season so far.
And then
it got picked up by HBO now. There's
really? Oh, they're going to take on the DC because they've got a Warner Brothers contract with.
Yeah. But I'm
God
worried.
Help us all.
I'm worried that. Well, yeah. Now they're really trying to consolidate all of that shit because they got to go up against.
I wasn't talking about your worry, which we now know if you listen to the last episode. No, I'm not talking about just HBO. I'm just talking.
No,
they
just
might help
DC.
It. They might help it. Actually, they make some bad decisions. DC. They're like.
Oh yeah.
But their animated shit is on fucking. That's the thing that kills me.
That's what I like about the subscription service they have. It's better than the
You have
the Marvel.
their.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
It's
Well, you
like
have to share your password with me.
Yeah. Okay.
$6.
It's $6. You'll pay me like $3.
I'll give you my parents' Disney Plus if you let me. I'm serious.
I think that pretty soon this conversation will be considered illegal.
Oh,
They're right here. They're conspiring, and then
it's
we'll go to jail for
called
your
humor.
No. Oh yeah, we're being satirical entirely. We would never share our passwords.
I never would with someone on the radio and then tell them. I mean, it's not like I told you the actual password. I could do that.
Don't do it because I'll just have to edit it out and it'll be a pain in the ass.
I'll totally give it to you. Yeah, no one wants to edit. Yeah, DC, good for them. Yeah.
But what did you think of it?
I actually don't. That show I don't really want to talk about. It's like it was okay. The thing is, TVs. There's so much. It's good. Mm-hmm. There's so much decent stuff right now, and I mean, whatever. There's high quality stuff, whether you like it or not, that's entertaining enough to like keep you going. Like I don't know. There's so much of it that I had to make. I decided that I was gonna go no to things, and I'd never done that before. I know this sounds weird. This sounds so bougie, but like I'm an editor, so I spend a lot of time watching films, and like I will never watch something if I'm gonna have a discussion with folks about it. I won't even like do like pause and then like get a snack. Like if I'm gonna watch something and then talk about it with someone, I will watch it thoroughly through. So that's why personally, when it comes to the Doom Patrol, I know I was in Greece and I was probably drinking some Cipro, and I'm pretty sure that I was I was talking out loud to myself and going, ha, whatever, this is stupid. And then going, oh my God, this is kind of sweet. With a lot of that stuff. It's all right. It's definitely, for DC live action, it's great. I mean, Arrow started off kind of mildly okay, but that was just because I was desperate. I love the Green Arrow.
Yeah.
I love Green Arrow as a character, even though he's totally Batman, but he's Robin Hood, but he's...
Yeah, I mean, his orphan origin story is a little different.
They don't do that, and no, that's why the TV show was better. They didn't really have the orphan thing. They like...
Yeah, he was an orphan. I mean, well, his mom was alive, but she dies eventually.
But he died the dad died in the boat accident while they were on together.
Oh, I guess he was an adult orphan.
Mm-hmm. That's not an orphan. But as an adopted kid, I'm sorry. That's not an orphan. I've been an orphan for 2 weeks. I can fucking talk about this shit.
Speaking of HBO, the orphan storyline on Silicon Valley is getting pretty fucking hilarious. I don't know if you've watched that.
I don't watch Silicon Valley. So that's the fun thing. I have like weird little...
Well, that's a Mike Judge show, which I appreciate.
Is it a Mike Judge? I like him a lot.
It's actually, I think,
I always come late, but I like it.
Yeah, I think it's his best, the best thing that he's done that's like, it's the tightest version of what he likes to do, which is just to talk about
America.
Well,
in the sweetest way ever.
Yeah, well, I guess that's right. He did do Idiocracy, which is
basically what we're living through right now.
Yeah, I gotta watch that movie.
Have you seen Bob Roberts?
No.
Okay, well, you gotta watch Bob Roberts.
Is that Mike Judd as well?
No, but it's starring... I forget who wrote it, but it's Tim Robbins. I always say Tom Robbins. That's the author. Yeah. Tim Robbins is the actor. But he plays a conservative... Bob Roberts, worth it. You'll just think it's some liberal propaganda bullshit, but you'll love it. You'll love it. I was kidding.
No. I think that it probably is.
And I was only...
And I'm kidding, too.
And I was just saying kidding because I just wanted it to be nice. Yeah.
No.
But it's also
I don't take
slightly...
that personally. I mean,
it's also slightly
I'm
musical.
self-aware enough to know that I'm kind of I'm borderline Alex Jones.
Queen, we're friends. We are friends.
No, I'm not, yeah.
I mean, we're new friends, but I get you.
Yeah.
I totally do. In fact, I would have made several of those rants, but I can't do that. I just can't.
Why not?
I mean, I didn't. I don't know enough to talk about
it. Yeah, that's the problem with having a show like this. You make sure you know shit so that when you get called out, you can be like, no. This is why I think this.
Oh, that's the difference between our podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't care. I purposely, generally speaking, when I interview people, I rarely know. I mean, No, that's not true. They're my friends. Or
Yeah. Well, same
they're
here.
complete strangers and I know nothing about them. That's the way I do it.
So actually, tell me about what your process is like. Like why and what you're looking to get out of your show.
Well, so far I've only been doing it for a year, and the main impetus was I actually wanted to be talking to pretty much anyone who was willing to do it. Which, when you say that, people don't understand how complicated that actually is. Most people do not want to get on microphone.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to talk
Most
to like the
people
guy
hate
who was
their-
like fixing the electricity on my building, right?
Yeah.
So I went down. I was like, "Hey, I'm doing a podcast. I know that you're around for like an hour. If you finish up early and you just want to talk for a few minutes, I would totally do that." And they're like, "What?" And then you realize, yeah. But here's the thing. It sounds crazy. I know. No, it is crazy. But I came from a lot of the conceptual work that I did involved strangers. Like, that was the impetus for the work. And this turns into a whole weird other subject, which is when I would go to classes and people were doing photography, I had huge problems with like the idea that people were just taking snap photo, or especially when they take the photos and then they're making the money, they're not involving the person they take the photo of. And then there's journalism. There's this whole lot, right? Well, the thing is, I started doing all this weird is a proverbial non-term that I just started doing weird shit where I would ask people, like, "Hey, do you want to finish?" I like bring out a drawing that was half finished, and if I was just walking around the street, I'd ask someone to finish the drawing or something.
Well,
then I started realizing how intrusive that actually was. But
that's not. But what I would say about your approach, you could probably make that work. I think the difficult part is inviting someone to your apartment.
I had a mic outside. No, I had a.
No.
No.
Okay.
Just like, if you have an extra 5 minutes. Oh yeah, I wasn't. No.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I'm a fag. Listen, if you think I know that you can't just be like, "Hey girl, you want to come upstairs for a second? I have drinks. It's awesome."
Well, as a straight person, that would take me a second to realize.
Hey, I've got a couple beers upstairs. You want to like hang out for a while? It'd be awesome.
No, I mean,
I don't know why I had to do that.
Well,
voice.
I think also since. Okay, I'm trying to think, but that's an
It's
interesting.
probably happened to you. You just don't know it. But go on.
Yeah, probably. I think that like
It's happening right now.
I think that what I would definitely I see people that they'll be asked questions by like local TV and they'll go on television.
Fucking awkward, man.
And I would just never fucking do that either, you know?
Oh, wow. That's
like,
the difference between us. But I would also go up and say that whatever I want to say, whatever. But
I would never, like, if someone asked me some, like, what's your opinion on gas prices? Because the only thing you're gonna say,
good one. I like that.
Yeah,
What would you say?
I would just like. All they want is some asshole that wants to be on television to say,
"I think this world's going to shit."
or just like, they'll be like, "What do you think of the gas prices?" "Oh, they're really high."
I don't know. I didn't look at it today. I'm walking. That's what I would have said.
It happened
That's
to me.
what I would have said.
It happened to me at a gas station one time.
Are the gas prices here fluctuating? This
This
was a
was
while
in Florida.
ago.
Yeah, this was years ago.
Oh, Florida. Oh, God. All right, let's talk about Florida.
Yeah.
I've got questions.
Okay, yeah.
So I know you don't have crocodiles, you have alligators.
We got a lot of drugs. That's what I want to talk about.
Drugs are so boring. They're the only thing saving the world, but
yeah, except for the places where it's destroying communities.
I was kidding. It's
Yeah.
horrifying.
No,
and we're not talking about the illegal drugs. We're talking about the legal ones.
Have you seen? You said you hadn't finished the Chappelle thing, but he has a fucking great joke that I've spoiled on this podcast before.
I'll watch it.
About how he's like seeing all the white people getting hooked on opioids, and he's like, I understand what it must have felt like for white people during the crack epidemic, because I don't care either.
Good one. It's painful though. That's painful.
Yeah, it's fucking hurts.
I've known some people who died. It's sad. It is really sad. But not to take away, that is a funny joke.
No, and but that shit has always. It's crazy because I've always thought of that part of the world. I mean, you can blame it on Larry Clark, but Tulsa,
So funny you should mention that. I blame a lot of things on Larry Clark, but go on.
What else do you blame on him? That's an interesting statement. You're not a fan?
That's a complicated. I've witnessed his work.
I like it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I
You
think
must not be aware of that. Everyone.
is he a rapist or something?
I think there's a lot of Me Too stuff about it. But
Okay,
yeah,
I didn't know.
He predated that. Like it was like
Really?
part of the marketing campaign for him. So I
Wait,
don't
was
know
he
for a
ha-
fact. I have no idea.
Okay, no, I'd never heard of this.
But he has the Tulsa connection too,
Yeah.
and like I love that work.
Well, that work is about like heroin
aesthetically.
addicts. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't. So I was just giggling. I've never met him. I would have totally been a model for him. I was in the wrong part of the Midwest. But I do see, where some people are a little upset with that work. But
Because it's exploitative.
it's not just that. There's also stories behind. Also, have you seen Bully, the movie?
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite films ever.
Yeah. Well, to me, I'm not gonna get into why, but I had a relationship with somebody that reminded me a lot of the bully in there.
Okay.
And I fucking stopped talking to that dude a long time ago.
Yeah.
And
it's an intense film, and it's based on a true story.
There's some rape allegations against this guy. This guy that I'm talking about.
That reminds you of the film.
The film, and
you can't discount them, but you.
And it's just one of those things where it's like when it happens too often.
It's not even just no. I would even argue it's not even too often. It's instinctual, man. Like I knew people I went to school with in fucking kindergarten, and I just felt like my hair would raise up. I'm like, I didn't even know what jail was, but I was like, you're going to jail.
Yeah, but so that guy,
and
then that guy, like a couple times, like he would got. The other thing is that he would get drunk and then just like decide. Like weird shit, and one time he broke his arm trying to beat me up.
He sounds like an amazing friend.
Yeah, no. So I that movie resonated. Maybe that's why I am so moved by his work, because that, like you said, that particular movie was very, especially
it's Florida.
It's so Florida.
But here's the thing.
But I always I always talk about that movie. There's a scene where where someone gets into a car and they ask, hey, do you guys have any LSD? And he's like, yeah. And they open the glove compartment, and that's what like my growing up in Miami was like. And that shit happens like up north. That is the white diaspora that came from Miami in that movie, because it's based on a true story.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's based on like an actual event of like these guys.
Well,
these
let me
kids
take you on a further white diaspora.
Yeah.
So I love that fucking film.
Yeah.
It is possibly. I don't like doing lists or whatever, but apparently. But it's it's a film I go back. I think I watch it at least every other year, if not every year. I watch it a lot. Love that fucking film. It's also basically when I moved to the West Coast and when I would meet, or whatever, the West Coast, and I'm not talking about LA. I'm just talking about when I was in San Francisco, or like people were like, I don't understand what the Midwest is like. I would go, if you want to know. If you want to see if you want to get stoned and see a glimpse of just like what was a chunk of my life, watch this fucking film. It's not perfect, but it'll give you a fairly good. So it's not. It transcends Florida. It's like that's Jersey, that's Kansas, that's like Ohio, all that stuff.
Well, that's Florida. Florida is just so.
That story is sad. It happens all the fucking time.
But. Dude, like I knew people that used to shoot coke. Like, it is boredom. It is areas where fucking insane boredom happens. Like I know that.
There's no basketball courts. There's no theatrical productions. There's
like nothing but pain clinics.
Well, that's recent. I'm poor. We didn't even have that shit. Yeah, that must be the recent part, because we don't. I mean, maybe I should.
Well, that's how, like all of Florida. That's the
those strip malls or pain clinics now. Like
it's called the Hillbilly Highway, where it like the whole that whole TV show Justified is based off of that.
No, I didn't finish the last season of that, but yeah.
But
they started in the hills, baby. They started in the hills.
Yeah, but that's right. There's like the moonshine people as well.
Yeah, then it got to then it turned into Breaking Bad. Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's right. I forget. Yeah, around what season it was. That show runs so long. Walter Goggins was great in it though.
Was he the
The
guy?
bad guy.
Yeah, in the first 2 seasons, 3 seasons.
No, he's like pretty much the bad guy the whole throughout.
He's in the slimy kind of.
Yeah,
I love that dude.
Yeah,
Fucking
he's got a show now called Unicorn where I guess he has
Haven't
sex with
watched
other
that.
families, or with couples, not families.
Yeah, wow. Freudian slip there, my
I guess
friend.
the porn is just.
I guess we shouldn't be watching this porn while we record this. It's sad. That's a really bad
Yeah,
idea.
I shouldn't have
You know, turn it
suggested
off.
sibling porn.
Can you turn that off? Oh dear, now we're really in trouble. Yeah, TV.
No,
Wait,
I think
what are we
that's,
talking?
I think that's why that Freudian slip happened, because all the porn is like family style now, which goes back to Idiocracy, where there's that scene where it's like, hey, we were wondering if we could, like, he's referring to an orgy. It was like, we were wondering if we could do it family style.
Generally speaking, I think we should. I don't think we should talk about Idiocracy anymore because we're living it. I think we're very exhausted as people. I really do.
Yeah. Well,
what
but
comic
that
books
movie's
are you-
still fun.
What comic books are you reading right now?
I wanted to ask you why you thought that. I was surprised when I mentioned that Superman was always trippy. Right now, I'm reading Batman and Superman. It starts off. It's the
Contemporary ones, or I don't know. You have to.
It starts with Jeff Loeb. It's
Oh, Jeff Loeb. Is it the limited series, like the
what?
one-
No, it wasn't limited. It's not.
4 seasons? No.
No. This is like from early aughts, like somewhere like 2004, 2006. It starts. I can look it up.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's what you need an intern now. You got to turn this into. Then they look it up and they do the clips.
Yeah, well, now you want to make this Joe Rogan.
It is helpful though when they get high and they start talking about YouTube clips. And you're like, I want to see how this mountain climber is going. What are you talking about? Wait, so Jeff Loeb, of course, is a decent writer. He's a great writer.
He's not my favorite. I think that the Tim Sale Loeb stuff is great, but often very overrated. Particularly, a lot of the Marvel
Smash bang boom.
A lot of the Marvel stuff is just
That's DC, but go on.
no. They did a Gray Hulk.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, they did.
That doesn't exist in my universe.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Those aren't good. Long Halloween is dope.
Long Halloween and 4 seasons. Is it 4 seasons? The Superman one.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, they're like 32 issues. It's one per season.
Yeah.
They're 48 pages. Oh my god, that's when you know that you're fucking like no, it's a 48 page chapter for 4 seasons. They're nice. They're nice.
So you're
beautiful.
But you're more of an Alan Moore guy, and I'm more of a Grant Morrison guy.
I like Grant Morrison. I like Garth Ennis better than Grant Morrison. So
Warren,
you just help
Warren
me.
Ellis? Or,
I love Warren Ellis, but
Wait,
I like
who-
Garth Ennis before.
I don't know
like.
Garth Ennis.
Oh, he wrote Preacher and.
I also
You haven't read Preacher?
no.
Oh my lord!
Who puts that out?
Garth Ennis. It was Vertigo. Oh, you missed a whole. All right, we got Transmetropolitan. We've got to do. I've got you a list here of the '90s Vertigo comics that were like good, the good ones, good ones.
Yeah, I never really gotten into Tom King. I was just recently telling someone that I liked his.
I don't know where that voice came from, but
I liked his recent run on Batman, the one that led up to the wedding.
did he do the Owl Court thingy?
No, that's Snyder. That's what I was saying.
Snyder,
I like the Court of Owls is cool, but it's a little.
This is so in the weeds. Hilarious. Go
It's
on.
a little less fun for me.
I'm not. Okay, so I've been bad
it's-
about buying books, and then I was like doing the digital thing where I was like getting.
The app is great, dude. I highly recommend.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, it's like it's.
Do I need to get a Kindle or something? I don't know.
No, it's just on your phone.
Oh no, I can't. You reading it on your phone?
Yeah.
No. I'm taking a stand right now. I need like at
Why?
least a pad or something. I love the composition of the whole page. I can't.
You can still look at it.
And then you zoom in, but
Yeah.
then no, I'm not sold. I'll look at it. It's hurting my soul. I'm sorry.
You can look at it on an iPad.
I don't have an iPad.
I'd look at it here.
Oh, so you can hook it up to your TV,
Yeah.
your giant TV
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I don't own. Yeah, okay.
But it's
Okay, so that makes sense.
but
This
actually,
makes sense. If you could look it on your phone on a giant screen, I get that.
oh no, there is a TV app for DC Universe.
Yeah, but I don't have a TV, so that's what
But you could use it on your computer. Yeah, on your laptop.
Dude, I sound like 900 years old. I could put it on my computer and look at it. That'd be awesome.
I can program your VCR if you want.
Okay,
Grandpa.
totally. You might have to come do that. Because I'm not completely sold on the digital comics. I've been looking at them on my computer. I have an app for another.
Dude, the amount of comics that I get to fucking read.
Yeah, compared to what you.
Compared to like, I used to buy them from DC. I spent like at least
the physical, the smell, the toxic inks, the racism and the letter columns. I miss all of that.
Yeah, but I don't like, storage is such a pain in the ass.
I don't know, I'm just being nostalgic for no reason.
I'm talking about. I was never much
some stale gum in my Wildcats.
I always thought of like the preciousness of comic books as kind of bullshit.
Oh,
like, and that's
me too.
Yeah, and that's what I like about the digital. Like, it's just like they're just fucking stories.
It's Sunday comics. You can just flip through them. You get through.
And even the zoomed in like I love the zoomed in isolated panels. Like it's actually like
okay.
I post the shit out of them.
I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
I'm hearing you, and I'm listening.
I love having them isolated. They can be so like.
This is a big step. People don't understand right now. I'm a huge reader, was for many years, and then I couldn't afford them, and now apparently they're much more affordable.
Yeah, because of the digital.
Yeah, It's
done the same thing it's done to music.
Which means people aren't getting paid. But I am going to argue one last thing on this with concern to the page, which is when you are working and writing that stuff, which I've had very limited experience on, but I have, and the people I respect, I do, even though everything I had burned, I've been slowly replacing everything that I got from Alan Moore, Warren Ellis.
When does the
I don't have the full 90s nostalgia.
Sorry to throw shots across the bow, but at what book does the Alan Moore Swamp Thing start to get interesting?
The
Swamp Thing.
Oh wow!
No, I'm kidding. What?
All of it. I don't know what you're talking about.
What's the story about?
I think it's about age. Here I have a theory about stuff. Like, so you might want to revisit it, and it might not work for you.
I've never finished it. I've just started it and not been in the mood. So I just kind of want to know what I'm getting into.
And I understand that. I feel that about HBO shows all the time.
And actually, there's the Swamp Thing show that I'm having the same issue with.
Oh yeah, oh no, is it all right? No, I need.
It's good. But it's horror, and so I have to be in the mood to watch horror. There's like literally a scene where a guy cuts himself up with a fucking razor blade because he's having hallucinations, and like, it's like I have to be in the mood for that. But I do have that mood. Yeah.
And it's probably based a little bit off the material from Alan Moore, actually. But the thing is, that's the beauty of the comics that people don't understand. I think often is that I'm not a horror fan at all. Actually, I love Swamp Thing. I think that those books are amazing, and I'm not just.
Here's my question, and here's what I'm getting at.
When does it get good?
Is it about an interspecies relationship between a woman and a plant person?
That's what's happening. But that's like asking if Buffy's about vampires.
But is she?
What's Buffy about?
But she fucks the plant.
What is Buffy about? What is Buffy about though?
The fucking.
No, it's about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is about friendship.
Tell me. I just want.
Oh, you want to know the reason as a fag, if the only thing I get off is like a flower fucking a woman. That's your interpretation of what I'm saying through your filters. Interesting.
What I'm saying is it going to pay off?
It's a fascinating run.
I'll watch it. No, I mean,
watch it. You mean read it?
Well, there's also the
Oh, you're gonna watch it on the TV. So we call reading comic books watching them now. It's probably
there's a TV show of it as well that I want to watch.
I don't know if that pays off.
No,
I haven't seen it.
I want to read the comic book as well.
Read the comic. Fuck that TV noise. It already got canceled, so it doesn't
Oh, it
matter.
did get canceled?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's sad. They canceled. They had 2 episodes of fucking film and they canceled it. It's sad. And the fact that I know that is even sadder. But anyways,
They had 2 episodes of the film?
2 episodes of the TV series that they stopped. They stopped
In the second
production.
season?
They stopped production.
Okay. So they didn't even finish the season?
No, I mean, apparently they like skipped 2 episodes or they like whatever.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah, it was weird though. Like
He curses everything. Do you know that, right?
Yeah.
And people don't take it seriously, but this HBO show Watchmen is like, it's people. It might get renewed, but it's this dude, the guy who did it. It's the worst thing I think he's ever done. I mean, he did Lost, and Lost was horrible. This is bridging
it was good
on,
until we realized that it was going nowhere.
until we realized that they had no fucking idea what they were fucking doing at all. Whew, I'm used to terrible season or series finales, but wow, Lost.
Well, you're a Buffy fan, so that season 4.
What?
Oh, you like the season.
You're
4
talking about
was-
season 6, first of all. You're
Season
talking about when
3.
she jumped. You're talking about season 6.
No, I like that episode. We talked about Buffy last episode. Last time
Oh,
we
sorry,
recorded.
sorry.
Yeah.
Apologies.
No, but I did like that. No, I'm talking about season 4 with Adam.
Oh yeah, I
fucking
mean that's it's terrible, but it
yeah.
moves on.
Yeah,
Season
yeah.
5 is worth it though.
Yeah, season 5 is great. Anyway,
You couldn't have season 5 without season 4. So what are you talking about? Also, that was back in the day when they had to like. Don't forget, those were some stacked episodes. They were like carrying some shit. 25 episodes a season.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Thank God we don't have to deal with that anymore, and we pay less money. All right, let's talk. I want to know.
This is so refreshing to just have someone drive the show.
You said that. Now I got exhausted. I'm tired.
No, I'm usually the one that's trying to come up with new things to talk about. It's nice.
Wait,
to
did
have
we
people-
already go another hour?
No, the last one ended up like being
okay.
an hour and a half, but it's gonna stay that way.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. Just do it to it. But you also, and I was just checking in. All right.
So-
Comic books. Wait, we had topics we were going to talk about. Do you remember any of them? No.
No, I think we were drinking, but
Always.
yeah,
I'm about to give it up though. By the way.
No, not always.
No, I mean me. I'm talking about me.
Yeah.
Speaking for myself. I'm always speaking for myself.
The what's it called? So
What's it called?
what I want to I mean, but both Morrison and Alan Moore are
We're talking
sort
writers. Yep. Nope.
of are somewhat. I don't know about Ellis, but I definitely
You don't, because you haven't read Vertigo.
No,
I'm sorry.
I know.
Transmetropolitan, but
I know. I mean, but I've read some of his Stormwatch stuff and whatnot.
he did the best stuff. He saved that series. Actually.
Yeah. No, he did. He was the series as far as I'm concerned.
And then the Authority, he created that, which was good.
Which what's it called? Damage is finally drawn in a way that I can digest.
Damage. I don't know what Damage is.
She's the Rastafarian dreadlocked robot from Authority. She's not Rastafarian. She's
Her name's not. She was the engineer. Her name is.
Engineer. Sorry.
Damage. I was
I'm
like,
confusing.
who the fuck is Damage?
Damage is like the atom. Not Ray Palmer. It's the atomic atom or some shit that renames himself. Anyway, I'm getting into the weeds
Whoa,
of DC.
that's like that is way out of my range.
Did you ever read 52?
No, I cannot. No, I don't do that shit. Mm-mm. We're talking about 52, the reboot, right?
No, 52, the series with Booster Gold that was written by Grant Morrison.
Oh no, I didn't read it. I'm sorry.
Geoff Johns.
I might have been broke, living on the streets and sucking dick for a living or something. But yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna suck a dick, you could read a comic book while you're doing it.
Oh,
or
really?
use some of that movie.
That's called privilege. You think so? That's a lot of effort.
I don't know if you get the same rates I do.
Apparently not. 52, and he.
50. So the premise is that Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman are gone for a year for some specific
that
reason.
again.
And then it's basically left. It's a way.
I'm not a DC person. I'm gonna tell you this is what I'm not, and I'm actually not a Marvel person.
I'm not a Marvel person at all.
I don't like but I did just watch Endgame last night, which is unfortunately my own fault.
Did you like it?
Oh no, I'd seen it before, which makes it even sadder. So sometimes I rewatch stuff just to be like, I actually enjoyed it the first watch. It doesn't hold up editing wise the second time. If you have any inclination of where they're going, it's all very fragile and boring. But I can see when I watched it, I was like, they pulled it off for a 3-hour film. They pulled it off. I don't really.
I think
Those characters. I'm hoping.
their events. My main problem with Marvel is that every time they have an event, it just ruins the universe. When they did Civil War,
Really? That's when I'm being serious. Like, that's why I never collected Marvel. Even during the 90s when it was like all that bullshit hologram covers, which I think we talked about last time. Marvel pisses me off. They were like, if you want to like something there, they fucking make it complicated.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have a regular store. They have to have every goddamn random issue. And it has to be like, and sometimes they have like sliver issues.
but their events, they always have to retcon everything after an event. Like,
because they make some decision and then the fans aren't happy.
or it doesn't work. Like when okay, so one of the all right, if you
The
don't
Clone
if you
Wars
if
or
you
whatever?
no,
No.
it's the Civil War. If you
I don't know.
if you don't know,
I love that you read that shit.
yeah, but so DC has sidekicks and Marvel doesn't. Marvel prides
most part.
Bucky,
Bucky.
but Bucky's the winter
The
soldier.
fact that we said Bucky in unison was amazing. I'm sorry. You couldn't see it on video, but it really...
we're explaining it to people together. So
Winter Soldier, sorry.
yeah, so he's Winter Soldier, but he's still like sort of a sidekick in some ways,
He's
right?
Bucky. I realized there's a whole thread of like gay men who are obsessed with the relationship between Bucky and Captain America.
It makes sense.
I knew about Batman and Robin. I had no idea. I fell into this and I was like, whoa, girls, you really need to rein this in. Like, Queens, excuse me.
Well, I just want to finish the point.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so with Civil War, what's it called? Spider-Man comes out as Spider-Man. He is the only fucking character in the entire Marvel universe that has a secret identity.
Is that true?
Yes, he is the only character, and the reason that he's the only one. Yep, because they all come out.
I thought
Daredevil.
Bruce Banner was well, I don't know.
No, Bruce Banner's known. Even in the movie.
We're talking. Oh, now you're talking about contemporary. Okay, I'm just talking about like the origin, like.
Yeah, but it was a editorial decision by the company to not have sidekicks and to not have secret identities, except for Spider-Man, because his whole thing was that he was like Peter Parker by day. He needed that, right?
Well, he was the sidekick who was the main person, which was interesting. That's his. He's like Superman and Robin at the same time.
He's the wit. But they still had to fix that because then they ruined everybody's favorite character, because if everybody knows who Spider-Man is, like, he can't be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's Peter Parker. Like,
No, for sure. Like, the secret identity thing is like, him and Bruce Wayne have that. That's part of their thing.
Yeah.
And then they always fuck it up.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, the Superman one is hilarious, and I mean, whatever. There are novels that you can read about how ridiculous Superman's secret identity is. It's fascinating. Who I really like is I'm looking into these. There's an animated version of it right now, and then apparently a book I didn't read, but where Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent or whatever Superman, they're swapping outfits, and I knew it kind of happened in a few Justice League things, but I hadn't paid attention. But apparently there's this whole incremental genre over the years where every like 10 years they do this thing where those two have to like sort of swap identities. And they've done it in so many forms. And it just says a lot about the times of like what they choose to do and why they feel the need to take on the mantle. And it's fascinating. Even though they're just two tall white guys with same hair and same jawline, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but if you think about it, they're so like one could just crush the other one in there, which is what that tension is. That's what makes the.
But we never let Batman lose. I love that part too. And Batman's the villain.
Yeah,
it's
Batman
amazing.
is the bad guy.
It's amazing.
Batman is definitely the villain.
He's horrible.
Well, there's a funny thing.
He's our president, but he's not strong.
Well, no, he's definitely a fascist.
Wait, can I also just... Well, there's that.
Yeah.
That's one part. Can we also just say that in reality, our current administration, I've been saying this for like... Well, essentially since he started running, but he is like a rejected version of a 1960s Batman villain, like the man with the golden suit or something. Like, and the writers were like, nah... We just it's too.
He's like
it's the guy who touches everything and turns to shit, or like he's so toxic he has to be in a golden suit.
Or he's not even like a main. He's just
he's a D+ character at best.
No, but I would say that he doesn't even have like. I would say that he's like
Chris Christie is the Penguin. I mean, at least we've got that.
He's like Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor. Oh, here we go.
He's Lex Luthor.
He is Lex Luthor. I'm writing this down right now, actually. Don't let me forget that.
It's recorded.
Okay. I won't listen to it, but yes. That's the kind of shit. Those were my characters are called.
Lex Luthor. But so
totally part
the
of
other
my
thing
universe.
that the reason and just to, like I wanna
Lex Luthor, it's so good. Sorry.
Thank you.
And then he can eventually become
mistake.
Lex Luthor, and then there's like a whole.
Well, what I do like about the DC universe is that when they do reboots, they're always trying to consolidate and make like they're obnoxious, the reboots sometimes, but they're always trying to consolidate and make everything fit together, which is something that the Marvel universe, you kind of just have to like suspend disbelief when you're already suspending so much disbelief to be like, oh yeah, I've made this point on the show before, but that what's his name? That the X-Men are pariahs, but superheroes are cool, right? Like,
yeah,
how do you make the distinction between mutant and like, you know, person that has like Spider-Man?
Yeah, this is the sick sad part of me. Again, I'm not a huge fan of all that stuff, but I'm hyper aware of it. I'm like, I really am terribly aware of so much of the history of those characters. I am slightly excited about what they're going to do with the cinematic the universe. I'm excited that they're going to the TV format, which is going to give them a little expansion on some of the characters, because you know that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but their TV shit hasn't always been great.
Oh, no, you don't understand what's happening. They're making 8-episode TV shows that you have to watch to be able to follow the movies. You didn't catch that part. That's going to happen.
Yeah, but that's obnoxious.
Yeah, well, really, it sounds a lot like how they handle their fucking comic books, which is the same reason I stopped fucking reading them. Yeah, so I'm interested in this. Like, they're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
But because that's
where you don't like it.
I dipped out when I couldn't afford all those books. Like, I couldn't. We had a whole thing where we were like as friends, we would all buy one book from we were sharing books, right? And.
No, I didn't really start like reading comic books the way like right now as an adult because of the subscription services. I have read way more comic books than I like.
Oh, so you're way more read now.
Well, no, I read a lot when I was younger, but just
sequentially,
like now I can just read an entire.
Saga.
I read 100 issues of Teen Titans from beginning to end.
Why would you do that to yourself?
So that I can tell you that it's terrible.
I could have told you. Hold on, I'm gonna run and grab a beer. Hold on.
Yeah, can you grab me one too?
Yeah, of course. I could have told you. Look at the colors.
No, I mean it's good, but it depends on who's writing it.
Sorry, can you open my beer for me after you open your beer?
Here.
And then...
Hand it to me.
Don't give shit, or...
Mr. Long Arms.
My arms are
His arm can reach to the little table and to me. My arm cannot.
Both sides of the little table.
Can't even reach the table.
Well, we're gonna do a taste test here. Oh, the second Hefeweizen.
But I really wanna pin down the distinction in reboots because... One of the most beautiful things about the DC universe is that Barry Allen, not the Flash, Barry Allen specifically, because there's different iterations of the Flash, and I do want to ask you about Robbins in a second. Barry Allen is the person who created the multiverse and who also breaks the multiverse. So there was a period where and so all the reboots are about trying to make sense of all these disparate universes and trying to consolidate them. And some stuff is definitely lost in that process. But it unifies the whole thing where like you're not it's not just like the universe matters in this very specific way, and it's all tied to this one character who, because of his connection to this mystical thing called the Speed Force, and because he's the only one that can time travel, right? Has the power to split timelines.
Yeah, they're using that well. I am not watching the TV series.
No,
but
I'm not talking about the TV show.
But they're using that well, is what I understand. They're doing a really good job.
They're doing the Crisis on Infinite Earths this year.
Yeah. Again, I've never read that. Don't give a fuck. Ever.
Well, have you read Final Crisis?
No, never.
That is a fucking Grant Morrison. That's the Grant Morrison.
Okay, all right. I will read a Grant Morrison, but
it's a six. Okay, the beauty of that one is that's a dark side one. That's New Gods, which is one of my favorite parts.
He's fucking racist, but go on.
Who?
Dark Side?
No, dude. Dark Side is from Apocalypse.
No, I know, but it's still. I'm talking about the overall cultural implications of a character called Dark Side. I'm all about darkness.
Okay,
anyways,
so then you're saying in the same way that Darth Vader's racist?
What? No, I'm not saying it's racist. I'm saying the cultural implications of it. Yes, are racist. Yeah, I'm not saying Darth Vader is racist.
Okay, you're not saying that.
I'm saying the thing that built him is slightly racist. Actually,
right. I thought
it was actually groundbreaking for Star Wars to have white troopers, though. I just want to say, but go on.
We're not We decided we were not talking about Idiocracy.
I'm just telling you. But the concept of darkness is it's fascinating. But
okay,
but Dark Side, I just want to say, as a character, is particularly one that I'm like, wow, whoa.
If we lived in a predominantly a people of color society where they were predominantly,
we could have a dark side. We could have a dark side.
It would be interesting. Granted, I agree with you. It would be interesting how they would determine. Like,
White Titan.
Yeah, oh, that shit is white. No, I don't think it would break down that way, but...
Well, we're making characters like that now, but it's amazing. As I should.
But...
Sorry.
I forgot what I was talking about, you bastard.
Dark Side. Infinite Earths, I don't care. That's why I bleed it out. I can't stand that. But go on. What is Infinite Earths? No.
So... The way that the Marvel... that the DC universe is structured, right?
No. Yes.
Is that there is... all the universes, and then there is Dark Side and Apocalypse and the New Gods. Those are Jack Kirby characters, which is Dark Side as well. They all exist outside of time.
He made he had some mistakes. Yes.
Yeah, but
he was an amazing artist, Jack Kirby. Love you forever.
What mistakes did he make?
He was just a human. He was just a human.
Are you trying to woke me on Jack Kirby? Is that what you're doing?
No, and I would never use that term ever, but okay. Wait, I'm sorry, reframe.
I don't understand the trolling that's happening. I'm trying to finish the sentence.
I'm sorry. I'm just a white guy interrupting. Go on.
Excuse me, why isn't there buttered popcorn here?
Okay. One more time. Give me one more time.
I was just going to tell you why you should fucking read this story.
Oh, it's Grant Morrison. That's all you had to say. Just send me Grant Morrison.
Yeah, but I was going to tell you what was cool about the story.
Okay, tell me.
The anti-life equation.
You like Speed Force, so I'm already... But go on.
Anti-life equation is an equation that, when you read it, the only logical conclusion is that Darkseid is the ruler of the world.
Okay. And then, okay.
Which is pretty fucking interesting.
So it's like an inversion of the context of the idea of the characters, the way they've been building up this whole time, and the idea that they've actually been fighting for something against what's actually right, which is Darkseid.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Of course, I will totally.
So, but even,
are you telling me all those white people who were getting together in the 70s in fantastical costumes were like?
Yeah, that's awesome. Of course, I love Grant. I do like his work. I just don't read everything. He's not my favorite, but
what have you read that you didn't like, or what have you read that you did like? because
hold on.
he's got some of my favorite Superman stuff. Which,
But see, that's the thing. That's the difference between us. I don't really read a lot of that. I don't. I just those are a lot. That's a little bit more in the last 15 years, 20 years. I haven't been the books I've been purchasing are like independent shit. I know. I get super like whatever.
Whatever. It's like I'm a fine artist, so I just like whatever.
but
I don't
what,
read
what
the commercial
independent
stuff.
shit
I haven't been.
has Alan Moore been writing?
He hasn't. He stopped.
Yeah.
Actually, when he stopped writing, I stopped reading. And so, but I have maybe in the last 5 years, occasionally I go pick. Like they were doing some reboots. Like I'm an Image kid. I think we talked about this in the last episode. And so,
but Image is no more.
Yeah, it is.
Not the same way it was. It's not being run by the same people.
Yeah, but that's the genius of the company. Don't you know how it runs? So they're like, it's like an independent label. So they
but it's
switch
still
over.
owned by DC.
No, it's not. Image is an independent company. Sorry, I went off mic. No, those are it's a creator
Vertigo is no. It's a separate
That's
imprint.
Image. Vertigo is different.
Vertigo and Image are both imprints.
No, they're not. Image is a completely different company. That's completely self-contained. That's why The Walking Dead.
So then, how does DC own all those Image characters?
They don't own them. You're talking. No. All right, hold on. Let's go to school. Also, I think your water is running in your.
That never stops.
All right. Okay.
It's my
First of all,
burden.
all right. I'm taking a sip of beer, but I'm about to. Which part of school are we going to?
Where was this
So
guy
what's
when we were
happening?
talking politics? You were so submissive. I'm teasing.
I'm a white man. I'm a fag. I have to be. Mayor Pete forever. Okay. You're talking about Wildstorm entering the DC universe. That's completely different. So Jim Lee sold his characters. Or not sold his characters, but his imprint, Jim Lee, that's one section of Image. That was just the Homage Studios. Image is still a completely separate company. The guy, it's Savage Dragon, Todd McFarlane, Spawn.
Yeah.
Those are all separate. They have nothing to do with DC. Nothing. You're talking about Grifter and I guess the Wildcats. I saw what they were doing and I dipped out. But the Stormwatch imprint that they did was a separate. That was those characters.
No, Stormwatch is DC now.
I know that.
Oh, okay.
I'm well aware of that. That's what I'm telling you. That's one studio. So Jim Lee went to DC. Rob Liefeld failed miserably or something, went bankrupt, and then like had other publishers pick him up. But the majority of those other publishers are still there. It's all creator owned, so they pay in like a fee, and then they invite other people. And so the guy who did Kirk, I forget Walking Dead. I'm so bad. I didn't read the book.
Oh, that's Image.
He's Image. He's basically the star of Image right now, or like the main.
You're
but
not selling me on Image.
I'm not selling you because we're missing the point though.
Yeah.
They're all individuals, so they're not.
So who
they
writes-
don't.
who puts
their
out Chew?
universe? Their universe is like every single one of those books is essentially in its own universe.
Okay.
Unless they decide to create a combined universe, which occasionally they've done, which other imprints have done.
Okay, so Stormwatch and
That's DC. That's all DC stuff now.
Yeah, but those were all shared universe. Yeah.
No, they were Image characters. Yeah.
But they were also shared universe.
When Image first started, the first like 15 years of Image, they were pretty much
Gen
like,
X was part of that too.
yeah, but again, that's But see,
No, Gen 13. Sorry, Gen 13.
Well, then Gen X, and then went to Gen 13. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know who my favorite character from that is?
Grunge. Was I right?
Yeah.
What was his power? I never understood. But he was
The
funny.
most fucking 90s character.
Actually, all four of those were about. Well, one was like a ripoff of Johnny Storm, and then I liked the Fairchild. I liked the She-Hulk, but with white skin.
But this is.
I was born. That's all part of the same studio. So all of those Wildstorm Studio, that all went to DC.
Okay.
So just to be clear,
All right.
I just want to be really clear. I know what I'm talking about when I talk about Image. I love that fucking company. They're basically like when Pearl Jam was like, we fuck Ticketmaster, Image was like, we're gonna go do our fucking thing. And so it's a very 90s thing, and the majority of them stuck with it, but a few of them dipped back in, and that would be Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld.
Jim Lee and Warren Ellis.
No. The writers weren't part of that. These were artists. The writers came in. Those were saving those. They were saving that shit.
Okay.
Alan Moore came in and saved Extreme Studios.
So how many?
Have you read
studios?
Supreme?
Homage?
Have you read Supreme?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm talking to the entire audience right now. There is a book you need to read. It's called Supreme. It's Extreme Studios. It's fucking horrible, the studio, but it's written by Al Moore. It's 2 volumes. It is the greatest Superman story you will ever read, and you are going to love it because you love the fucking Speedverse or whatever.
There's some great... No, the Speed Force, you don't even fuck with that.
I'm telling you. I do know. I know someone who wrote about it better, and it's in a different book. The
know about Speed Force is one of the most beautiful things that exists in all of literature.
Do you watch the TV show? No.
Yeah, I've watched it, but it's not... That
I'm
doesn't
not capturing it for you?
No, the Speed Force is like...
It's real. It's there.
The Speed Force... First of all, the Speed Force was created by Barry Allen. So there was a Flash before him.
Guy.
Yeah, a white scientist guy. The thing that the people that support Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg.
Go Pete. Yeah, go. Yeah.
So he
and Cory Booker, but whatever.
Oh yeah, do smart people support or elites, the educated elites support Cory Booker?
I support all of them, and if I'm going to call myself an elite,
you just want to be a superhero elite.
As I'm taking a drink of my
beer. We do. Okay, let's talk about something that we agree on. Who's the best Robin?
Oh, wow. Why would you frame it that way? Now the audience has now I have to be contrarian.
Why?
Of course. For discussion. It's called interest. Damien, of course, but that's just because of normal, cultural norms changing, I think.
No, I think that he's got the best origin by far. If there was going to be a Robin that was the son of Batman,
let's talk about a hero you would make. Who cares about that? Do you have a superhero?
I haven't really spent time thinking about that.
Think about it though.
Well, when I was younger and I was super depressed, I romanticized.
What did you imagine yourself to be?
Hold on.
Okay.
You asked me a question. Let me answer it.
No.
When I was super chronically depressed and very much romanticizing it as a process of coping with it, I had a character that I drew in a sketchbook called Self-Destructo, which kind of looked like Destro.
Surprise, surprise. Destro from G.I. Joe?
Yeah. Okay. So
Sorry, I'm just getting the audience. They don't know that for sure.
No, that's fine. No.
Isn't there a character in DC that's like...
Self-Destructo?
No, is that Metamorpho? It's like
Metamorpho, yeah.
Okay.
There's a Metamorpho.
That's what when you first said it, that's what I thought.
No, it was a very comic booky name.
Okay, Destro.
But I mean, that's not like something. That's not who my superhero would be now.
I would hope not.
I don't know. I do think that if you're asking me to create one, I'd have to think about it. But I do know that I did an interview at Apple. To be like a while ago to work at the retail store, and they had all these different tables set up, right? And it was like one for your personal, like how personable you are, one for how well informed you are on the products, and then another one for like psychological evaluation, and in the and in the psychological evaluation, and one for cooperation. I think it was like 4 tables or so. This is how I'm interpreting them in retrospect.
I did marketing. I didn't get you.
Yeah. They
pushed you fast too. They're like, do it.
In the psychological one, they asked me. They asked you, what if you could have any superpower? What superpower would you have? And when I said flying, they were like dismissive of me, and I don't know
basic. You're basic.
And what they wanted was what they reacted to positively.
Brainiac.
No, was people that were interested in invisibility, and I was like, "Yo, that's some creepy shit."
That is actually. Are you for sure that's what they wanted?
Yeah, because that's what the guys was like. Oh yeah, that's what I would have. Like, is the guy running the interview, and he was like bonding with the people that were into that, and I was like, oh, and it must be like
how do you bond if you want to be invisible? I don't know, but it's
no. He was like saying like, oh, like it was almost like, yeah, that's the right answer because I'm gonna fucking talk to you, because I was like,
okay,
I butted in with my. That it had already clicked, and I was like, "Well, I'm into flying," and they were like, "Yeah, a lot of people are into that. Fuck off."
That means you have a really big ego and you don't want to be part of any of this. Bye.
That means, yeah, exactly. That's.
I worked in marketing. I know. I actually went to the Apple store in San Francisco recently because my phone. I had a replacement and insurance on AT&T, and then I went to AT&T and they were like. My phone, what happened is the Wi-Fi, I couldn't connect to a Wi-Fi. And so my phone was basically just sucking data. So I had to turn it off. And I kept going to stores and I'm like, hey, like, if this phone, if it's going to act like this, like, I don't need it. Like, it was basically just like trying to kill me. And so they were like, I got mugged in Greece, and they were like, this was the replacement phone, and they were like, it was like 2 months in, they were like, it shouldn't be doing that, yada yada. So they tested it, and they're like, oh yeah, it's acting weird, and they wouldn't help me. So I went to Apple because it was an iPhone. I made the mistake of thinking it was like, an Apple product. I go in, like 2 or 3 hours of insane service, which whatever, sounds super bougie, but I was just like exhausted and tired, and they like hook it up into some machine, they test it, and they're like, oh. This is like, you got this through AT&T. It's like a refurbished one. And I was like, yeah, I guess, but it's still an Apple. And they're like, yeah, well, they replaced it with a different screen and like they rewired it. And so like basically you have like nothing. And I was like, oh. So then I go back to Apple and I'm like, hey, like when I got insurance, like I thought you were giving me like a phone. Mind you,
when
like
you went to AT&T.
Because I had insurance through AT&T and I had the same phone. Like I've been really good. Let me be really clear. I have had the same phone and kept it in meticulous condition. I get like those cases that I can't afford, and then like if I drop it, I like hold it like a baby for a while. I'm like, God, bitch, I'm sorry, whatever. When I was really good, but then when over 1 year period, I got mugged and I got my phone taken, and then I got one that was shitty, and then they were like, oh, this doesn't count. And so as I'm going through the whole process, I realize and this is an Apple thing, like AT&T sucks, but Apple is, I fucking hate Apple and Adobe. I'm sorry. Oh. If you want to be a customer service, you can bleep it, but they fucking kill me.
Because that's what I'm going to bleep. No. You can't talk shit about Apple, bro.
I love Kamala Harris. Whatever. You can listen to me. You didn't ask me, but I love her.
Oh, well.
Yeah, and I love
You're
police
fucking
state.
racist.
I love police states. Yeah, it's awesome. But when they took...
But hold on. That liking Kamala Harris, that's what white privilege is.
I'll take it. And then, so anyways, I have the phone, and I'm like looking at them. This was white privilege for me to skip on to.
No.
No, I'm well versed. I understand. Please. And so my point here is this company, Apple, which actually was the more helpful one. And this goes to your point of like your contact or the interview process. When I was there, AT&T was fucking horrifying. I can't even tell you how they're paying them. I have no idea. Those poor kids. I don't fucking know. And I understood that. When I got to Apple, they were at least getting a slightly decent wage. This is downtown San Francisco. It's not going to be great, but I know it's like...
They probably have healthcare.
They have something. It's Starbucks at least. They got something. And the kids, they were... And I say kids, but they were really young. They were really nice.
I've seen older people working there too.
They're pretty diverse about it. Yeah. I shouldn't say, but I had to.
Not that I'm like defending Apple.
No, I'm not all about ageism right now because I'm getting way old. Like I'm a decrepit fine artist.
But like, you're not a boomer though. You're Gen Xer.
Okay, millennial.
Okay, Xer.
And then God, I am an Xer.
You know what's worse though?
The whole thing is stupid. Everyone needs to stop. This is it's a war. You know Trump wants us to stop it.
Yeah, well, Trump isn't even thinking about this. I
Yes, he
disagree.
totally-
You think Trump is sitting there like,
This is-
yeah, let's have people divide themselves by talking boomer? You think he thinks that far ahead, bro? He's a racist, and he knows how to fucking stoke those flames.
Yeah, then he reads an
He's a
article about
fucking
how we care
boomer.
about this shit, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, you know what? You wait, whatever. It's gonna happen this week. It'll be fine." He's on top of that shit.
What's gonna happen this week?
There'll be some sort of okay boomer moment that comes from the White House.
Hold on. I'm gonna give you some shit because I love this tactic, this arguing tactic that you're
What?
like.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're like you.
I'm just tipsy. I'm sorry. And there's a microphone.
You do the yeah maybe.
I'll
That's-
scoot
that's
over. He's
It's
just
not-
upset. He's upset that my face is getting. Hey, what's up?
No, I can hear it. I have the headphones on.
But I don't mind that inaccuracy of the audio quality.
Yeah, but it's my show too.
it's part of my personality. It's my personality.
I feel like I have
So
a
when I
Tasmanian
whisper, is that
devil.
working when I whisper?
Oh, I would tell you if there was a problem with your mic,
Okay.
which is why I told you to move over.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. What else about white people? What?
It's okay.
There's a spider crawling across the floor. It's gonna.
Is it a scary one or is
No,
it?
it's a sweet one.
Okay.
What? We gotta cover one more thing and then.
Well,
No. Oh yeah, you're afraid, and you gotta go to bed.
I mean, it's like 8 or it's 9, but
I gotta get laid. It's different. That means I have to go. I was. His eyes just shifted. It was hilarious. No, I was joking. I gotta go to the other side of town.
I know what you meant. I didn't think that you were trying to fuck me.
Oh, I know that you know that.
Okay.
No, I meant that you thought that I had like an actual deadline. I'm joking. I don't have that.
Oh, okay.
Please, I'm flexible.
No, I'm more impressed that you can get laid.
Good one. I'll take it.
All right, actually,
You could almost do the New York circuit. Almost. Wait, no, we cannot end on
You are the cattiest gay man that I've had on this show. For
the
sure.
cattiest.
Yeah, no one
Really?
has given me so much shit. I think it's a generational thing.
Oh, sweet. That actually makes me feel really good. They're calming down. I don't believe it. It's called subtlety, and they're meaner behind your back.
They didn't have no.
They're
they
not pointing
did not,
either like this.
They didn't have they didn't grow up in Kansas like you did
also
in a
drunk.
fucking no. You are a very
Anime person. I'm sorry.
contrarian, which I think you've said it before.
100%.
Yeah, and I appreciate that
I would
about
honestly-
you. That's why we're friends. We have fun doing it, but I think that like there is a thing, a generational thing that happens, which you've described to me. I think that maybe like growing up. We've talked about how like even I was worried that I would turn out gay. Like it
I'm
just
sorry, girl. You could have been a good one. You would have been a great one.
I probably would have been.
Really? Think about it.
No, but
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a horrible thing to go through if you're not. It is, I mean, I can see
no,
it.
no, no,
sorry.
no, no, no. Dude, that's not a fucking plight at all.
It is. I get it.
Well, no,
And I'm not being contrarian. I was being sincere.
No, I appreciate what you're saying, but I think that like I can relate to the experience that you described to me because like, or I can't relate or I can't empathize, but I can sympathize knowing what that fear was like, and to have it have the binary, or I guess that's not the right term, but have that switch be on as opposed to like being worried about it and then just being terrified that the gas on your stove is on and then like finding that it's not and then you're relieved and then you
That is really insightful for a straight guy. Yeah, totally. That's exact. There's something on that. Yeah. It's
but
painful.
But I grew up at the same time, and I felt that fear where I don't think there's like a kid who's not that his parents and like he doesn't get a lot of backlash now, but there is a kid that's like does drag in and it has a YouTube presence that I heard of from Guys We Fuck podcast, just to source where I know of this from. But
I have no idea what that podcast is, but yeah.
But like, and I've taught like I think that I had this guy Abdiel here, and he's like 24. He has a little bit of that experience because he spent some time in Mexico, and there's that environment is still very hostile, right? Where like. But so
It's actually still hostile in more places than you think, actually. But
No,
I mean,
absolutely.
San
No.
Francisco is not a bastion of. It's amazing. I just want to say, I do want to toss this out there.
Yeah.
I found this is one of the hypocrisies of San Francisco, and I find it even more amazing. Like when you see conservatives using, especially because of Nancy Pelosi and now Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris. But there's this whole thing. Like I'm not. So when I make a Kamala Harris, I do actually like her. I met her and she was a nice person. But I make a joke like I'm also I know the background of which people would be upset with concerned her. I'm not unaware of that.
Yeah.
So that's my fag humor. The thing is, like, people think that it's like this bastion of.
But see, even even there, you use the F word way more than any of the younger gay guys. But I think that might be a generational thing.
I think it is, and it's also. I would also say I've only really been doing this in the last 2 years.
Okay,
and I don't even know.
I'm reading into things, and I don't mean to analyze you. No, but I am kind of doing that, and I'm interpreting things. So I hope that's okay, but it is.
It's totally okay. I'm trying to tell you the honest truth is like I've definitely. Yeah. What happened is I had a moment where oh god, it might even be 18 months. It's since the fire when my house burned down. I just had a revelation about a few things, and I was always out and very open, and I've gotten so much trouble for that, and I have no problem with it, generally speaking. But the older I'm getting, I'm a little more reserved. I know this sounds weird, but I actually am. And when I went to Greece, which is a very strange, for me, a patriarchal society in a way I hadn't dealt with, I think I became a little bit more flamey. And I mean, I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. I just meant it. And like, I made sure to keep the signals going because... in a way, there was a safety in that, which only reminded me of Kansas, but I wasn't strong enough in the time when I was in Kansas. I couldn't come out. Like I was afraid I would get a little beat up, intimidated. And
we did talk about in the first appearance of that. So and it was very intense.
There's a lot of bullshit. And so this time I was like, but then it was like reliving my childhood. And it was just like, no, this time I'm going to be this. And I think when I came back to America, I probably have been a little, I've been hearing myself do it. I've had a few friends or people and hookups. I don't really do I do the girl thing with straight guys. Like, hey girl, what up? That's my thing. And I've been called out on that for as well, but on that as well.
So wait, are you getting PC'd by the community?
I get it all the time. That's why I was all the time.
But see, that didn't shock me because I am used to it from a certain like I mean there is a Gen X-y thing to it that I'm pointing to. Right, like because I
never used to use the word faggot. I never did.
No,
but now I use it all the time.
But even you
never used to use that either.
Okay,
these are like older things. When I was younger, I actually didn't even have. It's been only in the last 15 years that I have a core group of gay men friends. It took me a while to even be friends, but that's how insidious homophobia can be. Even when I moved to San Francisco, I was still mostly friends with. I would say mostly lesbians and trans. And that was early trans. I mean, not early trans, but in the sense of people coming out.
And definitely in terms of acceptance. It was,
and even there, it wasn't. Quite frankly,
it was a
preamble for a lot.
It was a preamble. No, pre-gender society.
It was a lot. I mean, and I made some fucked. I have 2 friendships I fucked over, like not being as sensitive as I could with that topic. But the thing is, it was also new to me. Like those things, that's what I try to get to is like we have to figure out a way of forgiveness and conversation because we don't, like you said earlier, like abortion. Like, I mean, I think there was a point in my life where I was like, I'm adopted kid, so I was like,
it was a long time ago. I was never like pro-life.
But the thing too is
I was like in middle school.
For sure, but that's not, but there's actually a lesson to be learned in that. that we can't, even because you've seen it, we can't look at adults and be like, oh, you need to know better than that. We can think that, but we also need, like, if they're willing and you're having the moment, you can talk about that. Like, or not even talk about it. Like, I give people the benefit of the doubt. Most people want decent shit to happen.
Well, I like that one of the things that I enjoy about you is that you are confrontational, and that you're not necessarily just there to get by and have a pleasant time, which I think, like, you have fun, but I think that I think that, like, the Bill Maher's would call that being uncivil, but I think that is an empowering position to sort of, like, I think that's why I think that there is something to be said about trolling.
I agitate, and it's the thing.
Agitate.
But the thing is too is, and you brought up Bill Maher, and I don't want to go back to this again, but it's a sequel, so we can. That's what I would say. The part that you're sort of, for me, that you miss, I'm just saying for me, when you miss, is that, yeah, he doesn't hit it on every note for you, but you need to understand that is something I do identify with, and I don't. He's one of, honestly, my oldest friend in the world.
I respect him trolling.
I understand. My oldest friend in the world is a 6 foot tall. I don't know what happened. She's Canadian, so I guess I can do it. But a woman from Kansas who I just miraculously met, and she changed my fucking life, because to this day, and I am not joking, I just went on a 7,000-mile road trip with her from San Francisco to New Orleans and back. I fucking lucked out. I met a person whose concedes to the world were nothing that I've knew of then, nor have I seen since. She does not give a fuck. She gives a fuck about people, and she cares about the moment, but she's also about being extremely genuine, and that is also, it's very uncomfortable, and it doesn't mean you're right, but you have to make the moment, and if someone's going to correct you, you have to be. It's okay to have those moments, you know? So, but it's a privilege, I understand, to, like, have the power to be like, oh, I'm not going to be, like, repressed in the moment. Because I have seen other friends who are very powerful and get just, like, squashed by the system. And it's fucking frightening.
Well, I think that when you find the ability to be contrarian, which is a hard thing to get, right? Like, like you said, there is a privilege that even we like. There's people that
I think it's my duty.
No, but there's people
to be a person.
But there's people that don't have that right and don't have that privilege,
for
right?
Sure.
And so the fact that we have that shit, we should be contrarian.
That's what. So I said duty. That's what I see. I see it as a duty. Like, honestly,
I totally 100% agree.
I engage with the world as much and as positively, but as this is hilarious. Now I'm just doing a little slide. But it is true. This is actually how I operate. I do go through the world as much as I possibly can. I fail often. I'm a horrible fucking human being. I fail deeply.
I know. No, I was framing it in a joke way, but I also feel the same way about myself, not about you.
I tried desperately in almost every occasion, barring like this, like we're barbing, we're having a fun time, like we have a level of comfortability. But you've seen me as well. I also just like I respect, like, what was the guy working in the back of the room at the gallery the other night? Shitty fucking job. Baby boomer, listening to two fucking Gen Xers, like, ranting, and I knew I'm having a conversation with you, but I'm hyper aware that he's there, and I acknowledged him, and then then those douchebags came and tried to drop their glasses off.
Yeah, but you also assume that he didn't agree with us about the boomers, because I think that
I didn't.
Yeah.
No, he might have agreed completely, but he might have been younger than me. I have no idea.
Yeah. But anyway,
I was just engaging the moment. Like, I knew that there was another person, so I'm not gonna, like. My point is, it's not about the boomer thing. My point is that he was making eye contact with me as we were talking.
Yeah, but my back was turned to him. So does that make me the bad guy?
No, it doesn't make you the bad guy. But then the point is, that's why I was playing to him a little bit too. You know, it's because I feel really weird when you're in situations and people are not. It's even just like a bartender, like, and they can be dicks, but like. It's just weird when people are like, give me this, and they like slap shit down. It's like, it's just bizarre to me. human behavior is fascinating. And we're not all perfect, and we're in bad moods, and we're like sick, and we're like you've ever been with a flu trying to get like, you know, when you walk up and you're just like, I just fucking need echinacea. That was a white joke.
That was a 90s joke.
People don't take echinacea anymore.
I should fucking hope not. We've all figured out that it's
It doesn't
placebo.
work.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't take it anymore, but it's a tasty tea though. Still.
All right.
Anyways,
I think we
yeah.
should wrap up because it's like 9:13, and I don't know how loud we actually are.
We're probably really loud.
Yeah, but
Neighbors,
yeah.
sorry to the neighbors.
But
Thank you so much for having me, Javier.
you don't have to be obnoxious.
No, I'm serious. No, I'm being serious.
Okay, we're on NPR.
Oh, is NPR this quiet? I don't think so.
It's more the sassy voice that you were.
They're sweet people, I swear to God. It was just, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, Terry.
Yeah, fuck Terry. Terry for
She loves jazz. Are you fucking kidding me?
Terry's parents pay for her job. Mic drop. Peace out. The Gross Trust.
Bye.
Peter Max Lawrence. Javier. No, @.com.